Bill, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I don't really know the order of how I'm going to release these episodes, but you are the first guest for season 2 Clocking In podcast. That's crazy.
All my old heads remember this.
Let's go. Oh, let's go, unks.
So you went like this kind of thing?
I don't know. Lately, I just throw my hands up. Oh, I've been doing like this. Is that rocker?
Yeah, that's a gang in Chicago.
Gang shit.
Yeah.
I think in like some group pictures lately, I like throw that up, and I'm like, am I gonna get?
So Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, it's like.
So you can kind of tell when someone's newer. So I'm gonna put some game on you right now. Okay. But for my old heads, this was the Arsenio Hall. No, you gotta whip it. Yes.
Wait, that's sick. Can you do the snap?
No.
I also cannot.
So, little story is, I felt that little like finger snap thing for my whole life until probably my 30s. I thought that meant you were retarded.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
The finger snap thing.
Yes. So if someone did that,
it's funny because one of my friends does that all the time. Interesting.
We'll talk about him in a little bit.
Yeah, literally.
Maybe you can back me up. I shouldn't say retarded, mentally disabled.
Like literally.
Call your friends retards when they're being retarded, right? Not an actual retarded person, a retard. You call them mentally challenged.
Right.
Or disabled or something like that. Divergent, which I am one as well.
Oh, cool.
Put some respect on my name. There was a kid in elementary school, and I'm friends with his whole family. He had like 6 brothers, and that was like kind of my first experience in elementary school of like, with,
like
mental disability or something like that. And it was more severe, right? It wasn't like he's ADHD like me, but we saw him all through high school, and or middle school and elementary school and everything. And he would just walk around doing that constantly.
And you're like,
yeah. And I was like, no one else ever did that. But he would just walk around with both hands, like snapping them.
Is a word called stimming? Oh, okay.
As in that movement?
No, stimming, I think, is like when
like stimulation.
I think so.
Yeah.
And it's like when a person maybe with autism, they'll like have a certain movement or thing that they do, and they just keep repeating that.
Yeah. I think so. I think it's like a comfort thing. He'd like kind of like chill a little bit. And then he would like get kind of like, and then he would maybe run. Like a little sprint or something. So I think, it's probably like an emotional regulation kind of thing. See how I just started strong with some words?
Dude, that was cool.
But then we brought it back to education.
That's right. And so stimulation. Yep.
Stimulation.
Wait, so we were just talking a little bit ago, and you were saying that you're relatively new to Phoenix. So did you kind of just grow up in Washington or Seattle?
Yeah, okay. Edmonds is where I grew up in, Edmonds, Washington. It's like an old person town kind of thing. It's like 25 miles north of Seattle. Okay. So it's like the equivalent of like if you're from like downtown Phoenix, then maybe you're from like kind of Mesa or something.
Yep, makes sense.
Even though it's only 20 miles,
bro,
it takes
the traffic,
an hour and a half.
Yeah, literally
to get there. And that's like one of the places where you see all the ferries and like all that kind of stuff, the Washington kind of picturesque thing. And then we lived in Everett for the last like 10 years.
Gotcha.
And we bought a place up there, and that's like Navy base, and
Boeing's out there.
Yeah, Boeing is out there, and it's historically a very like crappy town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of crime and all that kind of stuff. But it's like got picked up like big time. The gentrification is happening.
Yeah, literally.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's working.
And your boy was a part of it. Blue
bringing in income, yeah, exactly.
That too.
Oh, you mean like you were part of the rowdy crowd or part of the not rowdy crowd?
Not rowdy.
I missed that. Okay, gotcha.
I will throw a couple innuendos out.
Okay, I'll try to keep up. That's funny because I think like when I went to Aries, I met like Greg. He's from up north, Seattle.
Homeless Greg.
Yeah. Yep. Wait, is that what you call him? Homeless Greg?
Yeah, because have him on or throw a photo up.
Yeah.
Right there.
Here.
And you'll see Homeless Greg.
I have a selfie with him, so I'll post that one. And then was Matt from up there? Sour?
Blue Belt Matt? No.
Oh, okay. Because he introduced me to you, and then maybe it was because I was going to Seattle, and so he was like, "Oh, maybe you should meet Bill."
And and that's when we talked.
And that was the first time we met. That was a beginning of August or just the end of July.
Yeah. I think he was just kind of like making the connection.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then I think what it was you just launched your jiu-jitsu gym. Congratulations.
Holla back, young.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. Gang signs.
I went for the snap and.
Yeah, it's because you don't have the stim in you.
It's called a callback.
Callback.
the comedic world.
Oh, where you like reference the previous? Big fan of that.
And on me.
But you posted a picture with, you said like your Cascade group came down?
Yeah, I had a couple different like Cascade people. So Cascade Jiu Jitsu is our old, like where I cut my teeth. That's my home gym up north. And we've had probably like 7 people come down from Cascade.
I think in that picture I saw Matt. And so that's why I was like, oh, I wonder if that's also.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, it was just, he was working on that. He's been like our handyman. He's our Bob V.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, at the gym. And we did a 5-inch subfloor. So it's got like bounce to it. And he like helped with all that. So.
And then I was talking to Oren, and he was saying that he helped put in some fans and stuff.
Yes.
Bro, I was like, when I rolled a couple weeks ago, I was like, it's so nice. This fan is a lifesaver right now. There's air movement. You know?
There's that big thing above you, and you're like, thank you.
Yeah, literally.
And it's got a light on it, so then you're kind of like, feel like if you're getting choked, you're going into heaven.
Nice. Versus like to hell,
yes.
I guess.
Yeah, it's
usually instead of black, it's like white now.
Like, very peaceful.
I was listening to your an interview that you're in, and
is that with the Asian dude or with
I think it was
Alex?
I think it was with Alex.
Oh, okay.
And there's another guy there.
Oh, Tojo. Yeah, they're both the name is Alex, but
oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did another podcast. My boy Justin O.
Justin O. Shout out.
Koreatown. What's good, player?
K-Town.
K.
That's hand sign language.
Get somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a popular one because we have our friend Maiko. She's from Japan. And she gave me, I forgot the exact name, so I apologize, but it's like
cool.
a traditional one. Pretty.
Yeah. Was it like a girl one or a guy
didn't
one?
realize it was her grandma's.
Oh, cool.
So she gave me a female kimono,
and
which
it's tiny.
Anyone that's Japanese would have known. Anybody that's like me, not. So it's super pretty. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I even had the bow.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then I put the
geisha makeup or
didn't go that far. My wife wouldn't let me. She felt like that might get
appropriation or something.
Tracking. And then I had like the trinkets, and then I put them in his hair. It was amazing.
Oh, that's
recommend checking it out. Not sure why I told you that.
Maybe it's because I'm Asian. I don't know. That was a connection.
What kind of Orient would you be? Is that a bad word?
I don't know. My dad says Orientals a lot, but then Elizabeth was like, I don't know if you can say that anymore. And but I grew up hearing that.
I say it for fun. I know it's kind of like taboo. I'd be like, what kind of Orient are you?
Gotcha.
Which is like a rug. But
I never viewed it bad because I grew up with it. But I feel like there's significantly worse like racial terms. I'm like,
we'll touch on all those.
Yeah, literally.
What's your last name?
Thatch. Thach.
Be it.
Bro, you locked in on that. Wait, that's crazy.
Didn't even flinch.
Because it's kind of like, I don't even think that's a common Vietnamese last name.
No, but I have a friend named Thatch Nguyen.
Wait, that's crazy.
I butchered the last Nguyen. I can't say that right.
Nguyen. That's better than Nguyen.
Yeah.
So
right.
Not bad, dude. You're learning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but okay. So we were. I was listening to you on a podcast, and it was about how you got your black belt in like 7 years.
I'm gonna put you on blast. It was actually 5.5.
Oh, okay. So, and the thing about this is, so like, I'm so new to the sport, and let me just say, I am like, bro, I am so obsessed with jiu-jitsu. It's so fun. I think everybody should do it.
You got bit by the bug.
If you're listening, come. If you're in G-Town, come visit Santan Jiu-Jitsu at Santan Mall. We'll keep name dropping it.
Yeah. If you're in G-Town, that Gilbert, right?
I think that's Gilbert. Yeah.
Let's say go to Santan Jiu-Jitsu. If you're in Mesa, Aries East Mesa.
Aries East Mesa, shout out.
Bam.
Yep.
What's good, player? Those are the spots.
And so 5.5 years. So I think I was talking to Greg, and he was like, it takes 10 years generally for fast. Can you kind of explain the different belt system in jiu-jitsu and like how long in general it's supposed to be, you know?
Yeah, so we have less belts in jiu-jitsu than most arts. You get your white when you join, and then you have blue, and then purple, brown, and then black.
Gotcha.
So we don't do the dual colors where it's like brown and black before black, right? That's like a lot of karate, taekwondo kids belts do that. And then we have little pieces of tape like degrees or stripes.
I was going to ask about that too.
That it's typically four for each belt. And some gyms don't do stripes because it's technically not traditional to do stripes. That was a little bit more of an Americanized thing that came about. So some don't hold stripes and some do. But it is nice, like a lot of Americans, they like to have a reward system. right?
Yeah,
Like a pat
every
on the
month.
back. Yes.
Hey, I'm paying my monthly fees. Give me something back.
Yeah, tell me I'm pretty or give me a piece of nylon on my
Literally.
belt. And it feels good. I mean, you get that stripe and it's like
Progress though,
yeah.
right?
And part of it is like, let's say another new person comes in. How long you been training now?
Since May, so 4 months.
Okay.
4 months.
So let's say you get a stripe or two, and it's the average. The rule of thumb is every 3 months is you're up for a stripe.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's so funny because I'm garbage, and I'm like, bro,
I don't want one.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The first stripe, just can you do a shrimp or a hip escape?
I see.
Can you do?
Are you like kind of consistent?
Yeah, and have some very, very basic movements. That's kind of what a first stripe would be. And you stuck it out getting your butt kicked for the first couple months.
Yeah.
You know, so that first stripe typically feels really good because also when another new guy comes in now, you've been training for 6 months, you got a stripe, you might even have 2, and then a new guy comes in and you don't feel like we're not the same.
Yeah.
Like I've been here, son. I've got my face smashed for 6 months.
I have
You're the
light
new
cauliflower
guy.
ear.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I look at it in certain down lighting, so it looks a little bigger.
Damn it.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You want that respect from that dude, like, and you want other people to know. So I get it. So those are the belts: white, blue, purple, brown, black. Typically, and there's what the IBJJF, which is the Federation, International Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Federation, they have their time guidelines on how long you are supposed to be at each belt before you're eligible to go to the next. Not everyone pays attention to that, but it is a good guideline. Like you can't be a black belt until I think you're like 18 and a half or something. Or
I see.
We don't
So there's kind of an age thing. Maybe,
Yeah.
I guess 18.
No, there is. There is. That makes it so we can't have 12-year-old black belts. It keeps authenticity to the art a little bit, right? That's unfortunately what's happened to karate and taekwondo and stuff like that. Is yes, maybe these 12-year-olds can perform a lot of moves like a black belt, but the realism of it is I'll Ray Finkel his ass across the house.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Another shout out to my old heads with the. Do you know Ray Finkel?
No. I feel like is he on one of your walls? Bruh.
He should be, but he's not.
Okay.
How old are you?
Can you guess? Bro, you've been locking in.
I'll try not to look at your degrees that you have hanging up because that would tip me a little bit.
That's true. I don't think they have years.
Let me 27.
30, bro.
Ooh,
We just turned 30.
okay, so I was gonna go 28. That would have put me at 2 years. I'm still under, so Price is Right rules.
Yep, just
I'm
under.
good.
Fair.
I should have done that. I should have done 30. It's Ace Ventura.
Okay.
You ever seen that?
Yeah, with Jim Carrey.
Yes.
I think somebody just followed me and their name is Ace Ventura. Yeah, I think they're in the jiu-jitsu community.
I need to know this, man. It's the kicker. He's the killer, but he was a kicker on the football team. So,
Ray Finkel.
yeah, laces out. And then, so if you ever have to take notes to keep track of me, where I'm going, because I'll forget. Like, I'll just, like right now, I kind of forgot where I was.
Okay. I think we were talking about IBJJ.
Oh, okay, yeah, in belts, yeah.
Time frames, 18-year-olds.
Right, to keep authenticity and to make it so we don't have these like little kids that you can, a new person that has a little bit of muscle could beat up a 12-year-old pretty much. And then you can't get a black or a blue belt. If you're like a child, you can't get a blue belt until 16. So there's some age requirements in there. And then you have time requirements, which I don't believe there's a time requirement for white belt. And I'm not the best on this.
Yeah,
info.
sure.
But a blue belt, I believe you have to be a blue belt for 2 years before you're eligible to get your purple belt.
Wow, okay.
And then it gets into odd times, like 18 or 16 or 18 months for purple. And then brown is 14 months, like minimum.
I see.
And then black belt. Now there's things that you can do that will change that and remove the age requirement. And that's if you win the world championships. You go to.
They're like, bro, you're the guy.
Basically,
dude, the world.
There's a gal
or girl, yeah, true.
I forgot her first name, Clarissa Mora. She's in Texas, and she was a blue belt. She won blue belt worlds, so she was eligible to get a purple belt right there. She got her purple belt. 2 months later, she did no-gi worlds at purple belt and won. So now she's eligible for a brown belt. So in just like,
which makes sense, right? You're competing, literally competing.
Your levels there. And then like I think 11 months, 10 months later, she did worlds again, but now at like brown belt, she won it, and now she got her black belt. So it was some crazy time frame where it was like a year and a half. Went from blue to black. So that's the one like kind of caveat. But typically 10 to 13 years is what it takes to get a black belt. That's usually, and if you average it out, if you train 3 times a week, the amount of hours that you'll get in that time frame
kind of makes sense.
And then like I averaged mine, so I trained a lot within that 5.5 years. A lot. I was fortunate I didn't have any like crazy injuries, like pop my rib and like little stuff like that, of course, but nothing like devastating. And we kind of calculated how many classes I was doing. It's the equivalent of doing like 12 years of training, like an average person.
Gotcha. It was like 5 days a week or like twice a day kind of thing.
I would do 2 a days. Yeah. Not every day, but
like that wasn't uncommon for you.
Yeah. And then I trained basically every day.
Yeah.
Like 6 to 7 days a week. And then, and I do, where I come from, 2-hour classes are normal.
Bro, that's crazy. I'm gassed at the end of 1 hour.
Well, it's like, so the first hour is a lot of drilling and technical time. And then the second hour is all the sparring.
Yeah.
So it's not like hard training the whole time.
I see.
But yeah, that was kind of it's all about the mat time. The mat won't lie.
Yep.
And that's the big one. Now there's levels, and you probably noticed this, but even at black belt, there's levels.
I've noticed that, like different stripes, like red or something.
Yeah, so black belts get degrees, that's all time. That's not skill. That's if I'm a black belt for 3 years, I get my first degree.
And that's the word, degree.
Yeah, and then the second degree comes after 3 years of being a black belt. You just have to be in the scene. Like you have to still
relevant or practicing.
And then the years change again. Then it goes to 4, I think, and 5 and stuff like that. But once again, it's all about the mat time. And then at black belt, like you'll have black belts that are guys that they got their black belt. It took them 13 years. They train consistently. They don't really compete much. They're what we call hobbyists, which is almost like a racial term now.
Yeah, that's so funny. I just heard an interview with Mikey Musumeci. Yeah, and he was like, "I only train with hobbyists."
Yeah,
and I compete, and I was like, "Oh, that's so funny." Yeah, that I know that lingo now. Hobbyist.
Yeah, and some people look at that as like a derogatory term almost.
In running culture, we call that hobby jogger.
Hobby jogger.
Just go out and run, and it's like, no, you're not racing.
I am pretty easily. And I just saw something about like, what's wrong with this picture, or what does this tell you?
Picture.
And it will know it was a dude that had, I think he had a hat on and he had sunglasses, and it was, I didn't know, but I started looking at the comments and they're like, oh, he's an amateur. And they knew it because his sunglasses were like over the wires or under or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, one of them means like they're actually not like a marathon runner, and then one meant they were, or something. I'm getting game a little bit.
It's kind of like what we were saying. It's like you're a good runner when your shorts are super short and you have the brightest shoes on. So same thing as like,
look like a good runner,
dude. Yeah, exactly. Super athlete.
Wondering if I got any pants on. Right
no
there.
Pants. Right. Yeah.
5-inch inseam only.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I have a leg tattoo that
You got to show off a little bit.
I'm so mad because I never get to see it. And my shorts are like, they're kind of short, but it's still not short enough. And I'm like, wow.
Bare Bottom clothing line. That's the brand.
Oh, like that's a real brand.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out Bare Bottom.
They got really good. That's what these are.
Okay.
They got, I have like 15 pairs, but they're all shorty shorts.
Yeah.
So you could show that art piece off as much as you want.
I'll look into it.
Yeah. And if you want to throw some shorts on and show some thigh, we could pause at any time.
Okay.
So yeah, it takes, you have your, typically that amount of time. And then you can kind of tell, like there's black belts that train, they're not a ton. They don't really try to get better. They're just enjoying the art.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. It's great. And then you got guys that compete a little bit locally. They train maybe a little bit more consistently. You feel those black belts. And then you got the mid-level guy. That's the guy that actually goes to a decent amount of tournaments. He'll probably win a lot of local tournaments. And then he'll go to maybe big majors, we call them, or big tournaments. And he typically won't get on the podium. But he's a tough fight. And he's the one that...
He's at a pretty big tournament.
Yeah, yes, like worlds and stuff like that. But he wins a lot of the local ones. And he can give like pros like at least a semi-hard round. Those are the black belts that you feel in the gym when you're like, as you get better. Right now, everyone feels crazy. Like purple belts feel like black belts.
Sure.
But
you're all breaking through my guard.
Exactly.
How? And you're all moving in slow motion. And I'm like, bro, I can't stop you. And you're just walking on me. And I'm like, hey, stop.
And so those are the ones when you get better and you can kind of feel skill. You'd be like, oh, they feel insane, like so much better than even the other black belts and stuff like that. That it's like intense. You're like, wow, I'll never be that good. And then there's a black belt above them, which they will maybe get close to the podium at majors. They definitely will win local tournaments, and they maybe even be considered like almost semi-pro. And then you got pros, and the level of pro compared to the other ones is significant. Like pros that like get to the podium at majors, or they're always in the running. Those guys stomp all the others pretty badly too.
Where do you think you would rank yourself then? Because I literally can't gauge, and maybe it makes sense because y'all go 0% effort on me. Right. So I'm like, I don't even know what's
it's like
good.
hard to tell right now.
Yeah, exactly.
A purple belt feels the same as a black belt right now. I'd probably put myself in the middle tier because I compete a decent amount.
Like still? Oh, cool.
And I've won a decent amount, and that's all I'm kind of. And then how I do with not some, but like I do pretty good with like black belts that I know are like more hobbyist like level and stuff like that. That doesn't mean I don't get caught. Or
yeah, sure.
Like, that's
of
not
course,
that.
Right.
But if I just kind of do the bring the competition like results in there, then I would say that. And then I know like there's black belts that beat the crap out of me, and I'm not letting them.
Yep.
I'm fighting for my life.
And they just roll.
It's like what I do to you. That's what they're doing to me.
Wow.
And it's like, I guess this is my day today.
Yeah. And it's actually really cool that you transitioned into that, because that was something I was curious about. And I am not familiar with the structure of Jiu Jitsu tournaments, and I just don't quite understand it yet, I think. And so the way that you broke it out was like pretty perfect. And I feel like I kind of see that structure in chess. There's
there's some similarities.
Yeah, different levels, and then you hit grandmaster. But just because you're a grandmaster, like there are like not good grandmasters.
Right.
Bro, they're
they got the
grandmaster.
score.
Yeah.
And they have the recognition of whatever it took to get to that.
But then there are concepts of like super grandmaster who it's like, dude, these guys just like toy with you.
Right. Exactly. And that's not even taking into account someone like Magnus or
yeah, exactly.
What's the guy? He's like half Japanese.
Hikaru.
Yeah, like
Hickey.
We're not talking about these two. Shout out. I know you're watching, Hickey.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the toss against India.
Like and subscribe, brother.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about them. We're talking about the dudes that they actually beat fairly handedly. Those guys are still so much better than these other grandmasters, right?
Yep.
Then there's a level even above that, which is like your top 10 in the world, right? That Indian guy that just beat Magnus, like not. I think
it was Gukesh or something.
Yeah,
like that,
that guy's a top 10er, obviously.
Yep.
Right, and though that crop of dudes are even another level than the comp guys. So, yeah.
So like the way that I viewed this is, okay, I'm not trying to name drop.
Do it, dude.
But it's like Gordon Ryan versus Craig Jones. Do you know much about that stuff? Okay, cool. Like who are those guys? What level are they at? Because when I think of those guys, I'm like, have they never lost? Are they just like the gods of jiu-jitsu? Or is it just because they're so popular? And so it's like you only see their wins kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, everyone loses in jiu-jitsu.
Makes sense.
It's like, essentially,
it's part of it.
Yes, and I would say chess is a little different in that respect, that Magnus really doesn't lose much, right? Especially when he's going against non-top teners or even top 5 or whatever. In jiu-jitsu, you will lose. It is a part of it. It's not like baseball, where if you succeed as a hitter 30% of the time in baseball, you're going to get in the Hall of Fame. That's how hard baseball is, like as a hitter, right? So if you hit 300, 350 in baseball, you are literally getting in the Hall of Fame. You're one of the best players ever.
Oh, wow.
That's why I like Ohtani. I don't know if you've heard that name. He's a specimen. He's the greatest, in my opinion, probably the greatest baseball player to ever live. And it's because he's a pitcher that's dominant. He's also a hitter that's dominant.
He does it all.
Heard of. Like, people talk about Babe Ruth, but that was a fat white dude smoking cigars and
back in the day, no rules.
The dugout with like no Dominicans, no black people, Asians, no nothing. You're just playing against like dudes that are accountants the weekend, and he's hitting bombs. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Babe, but ain't the same. So you're going to lose. Now, Gordon. We'll start with Gordon.
Okay.
He is by far, I think, at this point, the best no-gi grappler, submission grappler.
No-gi, got it.
Yeah, no-gi and submission grappler, basically the same thing. So he doesn't do the gi. Like, he teaches in the gi and stuff like that, but he doesn't compete in the gi. I'm sure he would give a run for the world championships in the gi if he wanted. He just wanted to hyper specialize. And he lost to Felipe Pena and when he was a brown belt, and then he lost to Felipe Pena again. He went on this run, a generational run, when he was a purple belt, and then into a brown belt, and then as he got his black belt. And when he was his black belt, his only loss was Felipe Pena at first. He got submitted. And then he also lost to Vinny Megalesh. And after that, he has one more loss. I can't remember. After that, he went on this crazy tear where
it was his turn.
Yes. The whole, like, everyone loses. Well, he stopped losing. Years of just winning, to the point he started calling his shots. He would...
The arm triangle and the envelope thing. Yeah.
He would walk out with an envelope, give it to the
judges or whatever.
And then it got to the point where he was putting guys in submissions and not finishing them just so he could finish the one he wanted.
That's hilarious. That's what you guys do to me.
Yes.
It's like, wow.
He's doing it to those black belts that I was talking about are at the top tier.
Yep.
Which is like unfathomable. Unfathomable. You just can't. It doesn't make sense. It's very similar. I'm big into judo and like Olympic judo. When you grip up with an Olympic level or world level judoka, you can't even explain the difference.
They just get
speed and power, timing. Yeah, you have zero chance even as a black belt. And against one of those kind of guys. So similar thing. He's just stunting on everybody. He's also very polarizing. He's got a lot of opinions.
Oh, I see.
Political and non-political, but like just he'll call people out on stuff. He'll start fights on the internet. He's a bit of a troll himself. He talks kind of like a dork, so it's kind of funny, but he looks like a physical specimen.
Yeah.
He obviously takes steroids, and he's kind of always alluded to it, but never like come out and said it because there's not much testing in our sport. So he's like, everyone's on it, which most people are at the pro level. Not all by any means, but he looks it though. He looks
Bro, his shoulders.
Oh.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And so he's pretty open about that. And then he's open about his training. He's very cerebral, and his instructionals are good and stuff like that. So that's Gordon. Claimed the fame being really freaking good, and then kind of being a troll on the internet and like talking shit to people and all that kind of stuff. And then you have Craig Jones. He's the comedian in the space.
Yep.
A lot of humor.
He's so fun.
Yeah.
I love watching him.
He's a goofy guy, but he's from Australia. Jiu Jitsu scene is not very big there, which is one of the reasons why he came to prominence, was because he did an ADCC, which is like the no-gi world champ. Like it's like the biggest tournament in no-gi for the most part. So every 2 years, it's kind of like FIFA. Like you have to be invited. You can't.
It's a 2-year tournament?
2 years. It's every 2 years.
It's every 2 years.
Yeah. And you either are a past champion, and that's how you get invited, or you have to win your way into...
Makes sense.
You have to win a tournament and win like 7 matches against the toughest people in the world to get in. Or if you podium, they started inviting people too at previous ADCCs. So really tough tournament. Anything goes too. Like they'll grapple into the stands. They won't stop at out of bounds and stuff. Craig Jones came out of nowhere and had a good run. He submitted a couple really good guys, and the people are like, oh, who's Craig Jones? No one knew he was goofy at this point. But then we started paying attention to him a little bit more. He's a funny guy. He joined Gordon's team.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And then there's something there.
Yeah, which was called the Danaher Death Squad, which is John Danaher. That's Gordon's coach, and he was their coach too. And they were all in New York. Then COVID happened. They moved to Puerto Rico, and then there was obviously turmoil within the team. And it was funny because Craig almost submitted Gordon. He was the closest person to almost submitting him in an armbar.
I think that's the drama that I was reading, and they were like, the pro Craig team or whatever was like, well, Craig didn't want to like destroy his arm, but yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if that's true, because I've heard that or read that, and it's when you watch it, it's like he's trying to break his shit.
You're like, dude, it's in his eyes.
He's not being nice.
And at that level, you're probably not.
You don't care.
Okay.
Craig broke Vinny's leg and Megalesh's leg in half, like a spiral fracture at the like the tibia and everything. His foot was laying there like a ramen noodle, just
nice.
And then Vinny still didn't tap, so then Craig had to rip on it again. And then Craig he just looks at me and goes, dude, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Literally.
And then Vinny was like,
I didn't tap.
And then he just looks at the ref and he's like,
fucking dude.
Yeah, and then they stopped the fight. Yeah. And the whole thing with that was Vinny said leg locks don't work. before the match with Craig, and he's like, "I'll
show
never
you.
tap to leg locks," and now he still says, "I never tap."
I never. True.
I mean, you couldn't
But you broke
grapple
your leg.
for 12 months.
Yeah,
but,
literally.
because everything was broken. But so Craig, he's a funny guy. He has a really kind of comedic Instagram. When they broke off from the Danaher team, that was a ton of turmoil.
And then there's B team now or something?
Yeah, they started what's called the B team, and the reason that came is because Craig's never actually won a big tournament. He's always got Craig Jones. He's always gotten second for the most part. He wins super fights and stuff, but tournaments, he typically gets second to Gordon. So B team instead of A team.
I see.
Was kind of like the
and there's some humor to
play
that
on words, yeah. And like
is that his team then?
Him and a couple other guys from Danaher Death Squad
formed it or whatever.
Yeah, and now he's actually left the B team.
Oh.
Which is
that recent?
It's amicable. Like, it's not like a thing. It's just Craig is basically stepping out of competing and gonna do like
Craig Jones and
motion, some charity work, and I think he just wants out of the jiu-jitsu scene because he's tried to do a lot of good recently. His ways of doing it maybe isn't always the best, but he's trying to increase like fighter pay and stuff like that. But once again, the way he does it isn't always the best.
I see. Yeah, because
there's eyes,
and there's drama with like CGI and UFC, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I think I just recently heard about that, and like Mighty Mouse or
DJ Johnson.
Yeah, okay, DJ Johnson. Yeah, had him and
Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius.
He's
Johnson.
from literally. He trains under one of my friends. So
oh wait, that's
I
so
should
cool.
Probably know that.
But it was like, yeah, I think Craig Jones and Mikey Musumeci.
Yeah, they had like a 3-person podcast.
That was cool. And they like took a shot with him or whatever.
Yeah, you can kind of see the dynamic of personalities there for sure.
Yeah.
So and Craig is a troll. He's not afraid to like put himself in harm's way and like and burn a bridge with UFC and burn a bridge with ADCC and flow grappling and
make his own thing.
Typically for the betterment is what I see. Doesn't always happen that way though.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, they've all lost, but Craig has devastating leg locks. He's one of the best grapplers in the world for sure. Gordon hasn't lost in a long time, in years. Craig wins some, lose some.
I see. And like to me, I'm kind of like starstruck or whatever, or like I guess that's the only knowledge that I know, and so I think these guys are like amazing. And then I just watched UFC BJJ3 or whatever, and this is actually perfect transition. It was like Mikey Musumeci. Dude, I feel like I cannot say his name.
You say Mikey
versus Kevin Carrasco.
Yep.
And so
a local boy.
And this was what I was curious about asking you, which is like the gyms in Arizona or let's just say jiu-jitsu gyms, do they have these super, like, could somebody at Aries or somebody at Santan Jiu-Jitsu like compete at that level? Is that like your goal? Because like, dude, I see this dude on this big screen. I'm like, are you working at some super secret gym?
Yeah.
Or is it at like the gym down the street?
Yeah.
And then you're from Arizona. Yeah. You know,
because you're
like,
kind of relating it to like pro sports.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where are you?
You can't just like play the Yankees.
Yup.
You have to like. There's organizations and teams and tryouts and blah blah blah. Grappling is so new still that as a professional sport that you can come from nothing. There's a team called Daisy Fresh. They're in, I think it's Mount Vernon, Illinois. I think it's Illinois. Mount Vernon something. Small town. I think it's like 10,000 people or something. And they've grown a gym to have world champions in it at certain belts and in Nogi. And they had a bunch of nobodies, just hardworking dudes with a good instructor that invested in them. And so it's definitely possible. That Mora gal, Clarissa Mora that I talked about, she's in McKinney, Texas, like Middleton, Texas.
Like in the middle of nowhere.
Small, 4,000 people, I think, something like that with Bruno Bastos in the middle, like nowhere, Texas. Now she came up in Brazil through the youth belts, sure, but she's still on a team with a bunch of people that you haven't heard of.
Or it's like hobbyists.
You have to have hobbyists.
Yeah,
for a gym to stay open, competitors do not keep a gym open. Competitors are typically trained for free if they're pro competitors. So having good hobbyists helps your competitors.
Oh, I see.
And your competitors help your hobbyists unless they're assholes. So, which is very common because to be a competitor, you have to be very selfish. Now, there are big teams, super teams, AOJ, Autos, some checkmat schools. Like there's certain gyms that have just like, they're all about competing. I would say locally we have Marcio Andre. He was a high level competitor at one point. at that top level, and he's developed a really good competition team. He has really good hobbyists, but he has a really good competition team. Probably, in my opinion, probably the best comp team in the state from what I've seen.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's very intentional.
Yeah, like at Aries, there's one comp class on Saturdays versus like, which I don't know if that's a lot or a little bit. Well, but if you're targeting to be competitors, I would assume there'd be more.
Probably. And yeah, Aries East Mesa is they're not, he's got no bones about it. He's not like pushing being a comp gym. It's not that he doesn't compete or that they don't push competition, because we feel competition is good as just a developmental tool for the practitioner. A lot of benefit can come out of it, but that's not like what they're trying to do.
I'm tracking, yeah.
And like what they want their personality to be at the gym. And so there's some gyms that really focus on it and some that don't. And yeah, you don't have to be at an all-star gym to have success by any means. That's kind of where the individuality of the sport. There's a gal locally that trains at East Mesa, and a little bit with me is her name's Sierra Hoover.
Bro, she is so cool. Yeah. She competes. She and I were like briefly in like San Diego together, or she posted and I was like, oh my God, I'm in San Diego. We should roll. And she was like, dude, I go in, compete, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I was like,
she
that's
flies
so
in
cool.
the morning of, competes, and then flies back.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, she has 40 tournament matches this year.
Wow.
Or she's about to, and that's a lot. That's a decent amount.
She's cool.
Yeah, follow her on Instagram. You'll feel like you're a lazy piece of crap.
Yeah, literally. She's like, I'm lifting weights. I'm rolling
at
every
5
day at 5 a.m. Yeah, literally.
3 training sessions a day. So, she's had decent success at blue and purple belt, and she comes from Aries East Mesa, which isn't a huge competition gym. A big part of that is the individual, and then a coach that invests in them. So it's definitely possible. It can help, obviously, having good training partners that are also competition focused. But I think if you have an individual that's driven and a coach that's willing to assist with that, people can go pretty far in jiu-jitsu for sure.
Okay. So something that is new, and we kind of already talked about this, is that you just opened your own gym. Congratulations again. Do you have any like visions or thoughts on how you want your gym to be?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So we have a motto, a credo, if you will. It's light vibes, heavy jiu-jitsu.
Light vibes, heavy jiu-jitsu.
And I did steal it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
From a guy named Professor Lionel Maha in Texas, Dallas Fort Worth, Six Blades. My friend Aurelius trains there, and he does like their artwork for their shirts, and he's got a gi company called All Knowledge Journey, All Knowledge Jiu-Jitsu. So if you guys check that out, it's
All Knowledge Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, he does everything by hand, and he's a veteran that has some veteran inspired stuff, but then he has a lot of jiu-jitsu inspired stuff, and it's just the mottos, it's all about the journey, stoicism, stuff like this. So he's my friend from like 3rd grade, and so when I saw that, it really resonated with me, of like having that as a gym motto. Light vibes, heavy jiu-jitsu. Because a lot of time in gyms, it's scary. I didn't start training for probably 10 years because I was a little freaked out by the macho thing, and it just made me like nervous and stuff. Like, even though I actually like did kickboxing and stuff like that years before,
like other arts,
and I competed in that and everything, but it was something with the grappling. It just like freaked me out, man. And I want the tough competitor style, but I want there to be light vibes. Because typically if it goes one side, which is like super competitive and like grind, there's a aura that happens with that. And when a new guy walks in, people look at him like, oh, fresh meat.
Yeah, I'm going to like destroy you.
Yeah, and that's retarded. Yes. Gosh, see?
That's so funny.
Oh, I'm not such a bad person, I swear. Do mainly people watch video? Or is it
it's both.
What do you have more so?
I think they're equal. Like Spotify has video, but I don't know how many people actually watch. Yeah.
So I want us to be able to beat the crap out of each other and tell fart jokes at the same time, and like have knockout, drag out matches in the gym, and not get butthurt about it. Not be like, I don't know if they like me. They went hard. It's a martial art. It's a difficult thing. It's supposed to be. We're trying to kill each other.
Yep.
Literally, we're trying to break each other. But if we have the right mentality, we can have fun doing it and enjoy it and embrace the grind, as like wrestlers say, And part of that's creating just a light vibe, and also having like I'm really big on it's being called the cuck wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you take a round off, and you're just sitting on the wall, which is super normal.
Literally, like, let me rest for one round.
Yeah. And I encourage it. As in, I do say, because after every class, I do open mat. So there's open sparring. And I'm like, hey, 15 rounds are going. You got options.
Yeah.
And I try to tell them, get 3 to 5 rounds minimum. Even the hobbyist, the normal like weekend warrior. Because you want to have an exercise part. You want to have the pressure test what you're learning. That's how you do it. That's one of the things that separates judo, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, sambo, these like martial arts, that one of the reasons that they're so above the others is because you can practice at full speed. You can pressure test technique at full strength and full speed. Other arts, they've taken that away. So a lot of stuff that looks like it maybe works or looks cool, it doesn't work because it's not pressure tested. If someone even uneducated just tried not letting you do it, you wouldn't be able to do it. So that's one of the kind of the benefits of those arts. Kickboxing, boxing as well. What was I talking about?
Just like kind of like the journey or the goal of like the vibe of your gym.
Yeah. So my big thing, I want people to be able to sit on the cuck wall and have fellowship. One of the biggest benefits of jiu-jitsu for me has been the friendships I've gotten through it. All my friends are jiu-jitsu people for the most part. My closest friends are jiu-jitsu people. It's between my church community and my jiu-jitsu community, that's like all I'm around.
Yeah.
You know?
And that was something I wanted to bring up too, which is the community aspect is so sick. And so, but I guess I don't know if it's my perspective on life in general. Like I generally default to the positive. And so like when I first started going to Aries, like, I don't know, I have a big smile on my face when I enter, you know. I think I do this, which I kind of do it in chess, which is I kind of like banter mid-roll a little bit. I mean, I'm still trying. You know, it's still fun, but I'm like laughing because it's like, dude, like this person did a cool move on me. That's cool. Like as long as you're not truly trying to hurt me, then I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah.
The harder rounds I have, the more there'll be moments of laughter.
Yeah.
So
it's like, whoa, that happened or whatever.
Whether like I've had it with Sierra where we're getting after it. And then out of nowhere, there's like these odd moments in grappling where you're in like a pretzeled situation. No one's submitting the other, but you're like, you just had a barn burner for a minute. And now you're kind of like in a holding position. And then I'll like trash talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Think, you know, kill you.
Yeah.
Start whispering in their ear or something. You know, I've had that at Tojo. I mean, me and him just talk shit the whole time to each other.
So cool.
He inverted me once, which means like, imagine I'm on my shoulders. I'm fairly flexible, so you can like put me on my shoulders, my butt's in the air, my feet are up here, and it's like almost like you're doing a backwards roll, but I'm getting stacked, right? And he just sat on my butt, and he started saying, "Oh, we're centipede now."
A human centipede?
Yes.
Nice.
Because we're butt to butt.
Oh, that's a better way than human centipede.
Yes.
Yeah, the other one is
we
like
can at least talk to
mouth,
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And he just like stared at me in my eyes for about 10 seconds, which...
That's a long time.
10, you cut out at 4.
I think so. That's so funny.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, I like having the playful style, but also we're getting after it.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
So, and some people don't like talking during rounds. I get that.
Yeah,
too,
totally.
You know?
Yeah, dude, you're there to lock in. I'm tracking.
Read the room a little bit for sure, and there's a time and place to not joke too. But sure. I want it to feel like a place when it's like Cheers, everyone knows your name.
Exactly.
You walk in, it's just
let's get a good roll in.
Good, you know? Vibes. I tell a lot of jokes during my classes, and I intentionally push the boundary of stuff. Like I was saying that. So if I say something that offends you, I apologize. Don't mean to offend you.
Yeah, cover your ears or something.
I just say stuff, and it's all. I'm a 4th grader. I'm a 42-year-old 4th grader.
Sick.
Is what it is. So my humor is very childish. Coming where I came from, seeing Asians is like normal. Like in Seattle, it's just a normal stop for Asian community. Like I would say our classes at Cascade, we would have 60-person classes.
Oh, wow.
There would easily be 25 Asians.
Wow.
Different, big Korean population, but different kinds. So it was always normal to be around the Asian community. And the funny thing is, like, I come down here and there's 0.
Bro, literally.
What?
Yeah.
0. It's weird to Olivia and I. So when an Asian person comes out, Olivia's my wife. When an Asian person comes out, we're like, it almost feels like home.
Yeah.
Is that I don't know. I hug them. I don't know if you noticed that I hugged you for a little bit longer than normal.
I appreciated that embrace. I was like, nice. Yeah.
The caress on the back was a little much.
It's like the father figure that like my dad's never hugged me before, you know, so I was like, nice.
Yeah.
That's why I do jujitsu. It's
Right.
like I love the
I just need
pressure, whatever, proprioception.
And and so it was like I grew up just in a melting pot, which is Seattle,
Mm.
right? And I think having that is like important to me. So I make crass jokes about everybody. I remember the last time I taught at Cascade, we had Justin, we had 5 Asians out of 11 people in the class, or 15.
For teachers?
Yeah, no, just as a student. And I remember Sarah walks in, and Sarah's Korean. And she was like 15 minutes late, and I'm showing a technique, and it's all quiet. And then I didn't, so yeah, she walks in, and I go, another one? Like, I'm just appalled. And everyone's like, what? I was like, another freaking Asian.
Yeah.
Justin, the Korean dude's my uke, like my partner in that moment. And everyone starts laughing. And I was like, you guys are just like multiplying. And then I realized in the moment, there's 2 first dayers.
Nice. And they're like, bruh, this
One
guy's
dude's
like
Hawaiian. And then the other guy, he's white dude, but they're 2 new guys. This is their first class.
They're like, this is the kind of class I'm joining.
This blue-eyed Hitler wet dream.
Almost blonde hair.
Would call it blonde.
Yeah.
But bald, look like a white supremacist, is talking like crazy. Well, it turns out they were both cops, and like they got sense of humor. So they were like the Hawaiian guy.
They're like,
came
we're
up to me.
racist too. No, I'm just kidding.
He's like, the Hawaiian guy. He's a Clayton Bigsby.
That's so
he's like,
funny.
I hate Asians. You look okay, but yeah, he. So I say silly stuff. I make silly jokes. I play off stereotypes. I make fun of myself. Like it's,
it doesn't have to be that serious.
And that's the point. That's the point. Is if we can make light of shitty things, I think it makes it so it doesn't hurt.
Yep, it softens it. Yeah, totally.
Obviously there's pieces of shit out there that
and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, more so I if you saw my certain friends saw like our group chats, stuff like that, and we all have it. We all have group chats with like
stupid banter that you guys are
racist. And it's typically it's
funny, like the gaming group or whatever.
Exactly. So although I'm sure someone's out there, I bet that dude says the N-word. I don't say the N-word.
Same.
I do have a little bit of a wall, or a
filter
line,
or whatever.
Filter. Yeah. I don't do that. So it's only if the windows are up and
yeah, it is just me by myself. No, just that's so funny.
You son of a gun.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so that's kind of the goal. Is just have a light place that we can grind, get better. And I am going to push competitions a decent amount. If someone does not want to compete, I don't want you to compete. If you have any desire, I mean, just a little bit, I think you should. Doesn't mean I'm going to pressure you a whole bunch, but I think you should. If you have any desire, if you have zero desire, don't listen to peer pressure. We're adults. You don't have to listen to that crap. Don't do it. But I do think competition makes you better. And I do want to have, because I believe a good competitor makes a good hobbyist technically. And if our goal is to have good, authentic jiu-jitsu, competition will help do that. And same with cross-training, training other gyms. It's like a mini form of competing.
And I just learned about that, the training at other gyms thing. That
like etiquette and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't gone to another gym, I guess besides yours, but it's like somebody who I don't know, and it's a lot of people have said like, yeah, you learn about other gym styles and things like that. And I think that that's kind of cool.
Because the instructor came from a different lineage and different instructor than yours, and like so there's different techniques that certain gyms do that are like some gyms are known for spider guard or omoplatas or passing a certain way because that's what their instructor does, and they play a lot of De La Hiva, whatever it is, and those guys.
I just learned that this morning.
That name
is that the leg move?
Yeah, so that's one thing that's good about going to other gyms is you've maybe never gone against De La Hiva because your gym just doesn't play it much. That you go to cross train, now you run into it. So it's like it's really and you get experience. So then when you go to a tournament, it's not the first time you've run into it.
Yep.
And also when you cross train, there's like nerves a little bit.
But yeah, I'm the new guy at this gym. Right?
And then if you have a color,
then you have a target on your back.
You're wearing someone else's flag. Yeah. They want to represent their gym. We know jiu-jitsu pretty well. Yeah. You want to represent your flag. We know jiu-jitsu pretty well. Yeah. Even though it's good vibes, like there's still that competitive thing.
My school versus your school.
A little bit of nerves and stuff like that. So when you drop in, like, especially if you're a color belt, you got to anticipate people are going to come after you. Not in like a mean way, but you're probably going to get some smoke.
Yeah. Like they're going to try.
Yeah. And like as a black belt now, I can go in and kind of like just follow people's speed.
Engage.
Like if they want to attack me, then I'm like, oh, green light, I get to attack them.
Yeah.
If they're like chill, then I go chill.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's harder in the beginning.
Bro, that's true. Because I feel like I tried to... I don't try to go all out, but it's interesting how difficult it is to go from like 40% effort and 80% effort.
You have no throttle control.
Yeah, I don't.
It's the same as riding a motorcycle.
It's just fast.
When you start going, like you see guys like jerking and like, or if you like drive a stick or something, you know,
like you just don't feel it.
Your throttle control sucks, right? Your potentiometer, name Big Brain on Bill. And like as you get better, more experience, you learn how to control those things.
Right.
And the number's arbitrary, 50%, 60%.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just saying like, don't go full steam,
every
taper
time
back.
Type thing. Like it's reading your partner. Yeah. And this is another perfect transition, which is you had brought up about how when you go to another school, you're representing your school and then going against theirs somewhat. Like who can create a school? And then it's like, so then now I would be getting belts underneath this person, but does this person need credentials? Is it like, and so like you, everywhere you see the name Gracie, but it's like, how, right? You see that name everywhere. And is that really a Gracie person?
Right.
Type shit?
Like, what does that even mean, Gracie? Like, why is that significant?
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's like,
so the Gracies,
or like you name drop Cascade because they gave you your black belt, you know, and it's like,
and if you go back far enough, Andrew got his black belt from Gracie Baja.
Okay. You know, that's my
professor. Yeah.
Okay. Your professor.
And he's almost a 5th degree, so that means he's been a black belt for like 20 years. Like, so 20 years ago, he got his black belt, and he was Gracie Baja then. Then he opened his own school, which was Gracie Baja Everett, and then they are very corporate. They're like, it's very known that I'm not spilling any beans. They're very corporate. They have a lot of control over their affiliates,
their franchise or whatever it is.
Yeah, they like things done a very specific way, and they don't really want you straying. So if you start straying, you can get like emails saying, "Hey, why is someone not wearing a Gracie Baja gear?
Wow.
They're wearing a Moya," you know, something like that.
Wow, you get audited.
Oh yeah. So gym owners they want a little bit more freedom, so they'll branch off and either join another association or franchise, or they'll just go independent, which is what Andrew did. He went independent and started Cascade Jiu Jitsu just because Cascade Mountains, and that's why we're Santan Jiu Jitsu.
Santan Mountains.
Yeah,
Nice.
Well, it was mainly I live in Santan, but I wanted to open in Santan when I first moved down here. That was the goal. I didn't really know the layout of the land. I didn't really realize that there's nothing south of Santan and nothing really east of Santan.
Yeah.
But the population density out here is huge, like it's crazy. You know, Mesa's like 450,000 people, and Gilbert's a lot. So as I'm looking, I start realizing that I would not be able to pull from Chandler. I wouldn't be able to pull from Gilbert much. Anybody close to the 202 freeway. So I'm like, okay. I still want to open down there. I'll just start small. Well, in commercial real estate in Phoenix right now, the East Valley specifically, there's a 2% vacancy rate.
Wow.
Which is really low. So it's super hard to find a space, and we need a very specific space. And everything, because it's so low, it's super expensive. So we looked for 4 months and couldn't find a thing. So we had to expand into Queen Creek and Gilbert of like where we're thinking of opening. But I already registered Santan Jiu Jitsu and all
the
that
name
kind of
and
stuff.
The LLC.
And I liked it. And ultimately we will have a gym in Santan.
One step at a time.
Yeah. And my goal was to open in 2025, and I just wanted to hold true to that goal.
Go for launch.
Yeah, we ended up finding a space in the Santan Mall, and I'm paying more than most people. It's a really nice area and all that kind of stuff. And it's super expensive. I wanted to also be a certain distance away from Aries East Mesa because I have a good relationship with them.
Yep. That's fair.
And even from another Aries gym that's out there, I want to be respectful of that too. So I want to make sure I was at least 20 minutes away, kind of thing. That's how.
Bro, you like you have the map of them, and you're like, okay, right here is probably fine.
Hopefully,
or within.
Yeah, and some people might disagree with that, and that's on them.
Right.
I'm not. Yeah. So
I'm tracking
accreditation, all that though. So like Gracie's, the reason their name is so big in the jiu-jitsu community is they're the best marketers, and some people might not like that. But Gracie lineage isn't the only lineage of jiu-jitsu. Like Maeda and the Japanese guys that came and like started teaching in Brazil and teaching jiu-jitsu to the Brazilians they taught at more than just the Gracie schools.
Gotcha.
You have like Luta Livre and Hercules Batista, and there's lineages that are not Gracie that are still Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, but the Gracies were really good at marketing, and they were the first ones to come to America for them.
Yeah. Okay. Within reason. Yeah.
shouldn't say the first ones. Jiu-Jitsu was in America before the Brazilians came. The best marketers were the Brazilians, specifically the Gracies. They started the Gracie challenges, so they would have Gracie gyms like in their garage, basically, and they would put out $10,000 challenges. And back then, they were talking like the '80s, like these kind of stuff. And if the great they would go to karate gyms. Because back then, like Bloodsport was out and like stuff like that. So you're thinking Taekwondo and karate are like Chuck Norris. You can get your ass kicked. You go against a karate guy. You have to register your hands as lethal weapons.
Yeah, literally.
Right?
If you kick a horse, it'll turn into a giraffe.
Potentially.
Yeah. Wait, is that the joke that you're making?
No.
Like you literally have to register.
Yes.
Nice.
Because
I was making a Chuck Norris joke.
No, because you did karate. Yeah, and like we thought that traditional martial arts was like super legit, and now there are certain forms of karate that are actually quite legit. And there's old school Taekwondo that's not point style Taekwondo, which those dudes are freaking legit. And just like Jiu-Jitsu, there's a certain percentage of the moves that those arts do that are legit. And then there's a big percent that is bullshit. Jiu-Jitsu has the same thing. When it comes to self-defense and like actual fighting, right? There's moves in Jiu-Jitsu that you would never do in a self-defense situation.
I'm tracking.
And there's some in every art. The Gracies, they do these Gracie challenges, $10,000. They would go and dojo storm. Have you ever heard of that?
I'm assuming all the students would go beat up
They
or
would go to a gym
enroll
and challenge the instructor and fight him.
like in the movie. What is that, Karate Kid or what kind of thing or whatever?
Yes, yeah, that's real.
Kai,
You can go on YouTube and look up Gracie Challenge, and you'll see like VHS video of them fighting
You're like, bruh.
dudes that know nothing.
Yeah.
And they would show the art of jiu-jitsu, and like they wouldn't take their school after, but maybe they did a couple
It's mine
times.
now. Give me the deed.
But they would take them down and beat the crap out of them and like show the jiu-jitsu superior.
I see. Oh, compared to another sport.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah. So that was their first market, and then they were a part of the development of the UFC in the very beginning.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And then you have Hoist Gracie coming about, and like that was like the big marketing decision through the Gracies. And they called it Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. They didn't call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is even a little silly if you think about it, because it's just Jiu-Jitsu.
I don't know what to say, and so I usually say Jiu-Jitsu, but I feel like when I'm texting, I say BJ. But
it's easy to do BJJ because JJ, you're like, what is that? You know?
Okay, that's.
I do that. I say jiu-jitsu if I say it out, and I say Brazilian jiu-jitsu or BJJ if I just type it. I don't get too caught up in it, but I do know that it's honestly just judo.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we're doing is judo.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the, I'm not saying all the moves, things have been developed further and stuff like that, but groundwork, nuaza is in judo, and it was more prominent in judo. There's certain styles of judo that have much more groundwork than others. Just the Brazilians really focused on the groundwork and developing that technique and stuff like that. So, and then the marketing was good because it's like let's say we call it American Jiu-Jitsu. What is that? Well, that's probably more of a wrestler heavy Jiu-Jitsu style.
Like a Dorian?
Dorian Oliveira's, sure. That's a great example because
he has the wrestler aesthetic, I think, or something.
100%. Yeah, he has a lot of wrestling, and now he's a submission grappler and jiu-jitsu guy, right? So the Brazilians historically ignored
the takedown part,
stand up and wrestling. Not all of them, because there's a lot of judo influence in grappling in the Brazilian art, or Brazilians have a lot of judo influence too. But the it was highly ignored, the stand up part. Wrestling.
It's funny you say that because I also avoid that part. I'm like, bro, I don't need to get thrown at open mat right now.
Most injuries happen through falling body weight. Not just takedowns, but like a sweep or like your body weight's being flipped over. That's a movement of body weight is typically where injuries happen the most in jiu-jitsu.
I see.
So stand-up is scary, especially when it's taught shittily. And in jiu-jitsu, takedowns are not taught very well or even emphasized. Which is why, like, my first class, we were learning how to fall. Once I am comfortable with my students knowing how to take a fall, like getting bombed, getting taken down, now we can take people down. Because otherwise, we're going to start takedowns, and if guys don't know how to fall, they're going to get hurt, and now we just lost a training partner for 2 months. Or something like that.
Makes sense.
So the Gracies they ignored leg locks and stand-up. And I'm not talking about today. Today is much different. We're talking old, you know.
Gotcha. And so like that's how like a lot of like the development of jiu-jitsu into the I guess the US, and then with that's kind of like where the name brand of Gracie was kind of around. So,
and then they started creating their own schools. So Gracie
I
Barra is just an area. Baja in Brazil. So
I see.
Gracie Barra, Gracie Humaita, right? Like these are little factions, and there's friction and fractions within the Gracie.
I'm the Baja group,
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes,
right?
and then you have Henzo Gracie's stuff, and Half Gracie, and Helson Gracie, and Hickson Gracie, Gracie Humaita. Like they got their own stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
And then people from those lineages, and then Luta Libre and some of the other ones, GF team, they create their own, and then they have, like Brasa was an old school team that had a bunch, and they fractioned off, and that's where Aries came from. Actually,
Okay.
is from this Brasa.
Because I just learned that Aries is also kind of a franchise.
Yeah,
It's something like that. It's like there's like a bunch of them in the U.S. I was talking to somebody and they said that.
I don't know how many they have, but probably 20 plus. So, and they have their lineage. And,
I see.
And which is cool. And I keep track of lineages too. Lineage is important. It's one of the things that in jiu-jitsu we can keep authenticity, is because we can.
This is the source. This is the trace.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think it's extremely important, because going back to your question, can you just be anybody? You can. You can open up a jiu-jitsu school. You could open up a jiu-jitsu school.
Yep.
100%. Now, and you could put a black belt on. Now, it won't be recognized by the federation, which is a little bit of a money grab. Okay. It's important. I think we should have a jiu-jitsu federation for sure. But how ours does it, like almost any governmental body, is a little corrupt.
Gotcha.
Not to go down that road. But and it's a little bit of a money grab. You can open any school, anyone can, but that's why looking into lineage is important. Making sure it's not Japanese jiu-jitsu, because that term's been perverted now. Specifically Japanese jiu-jitsu, not just jiu-jitsu. And like what I was saying about it comes from Japan. There's a certain marketing model of Japanese jiu-jitsu, which is usually a lot of karate and taekwondo schools. They do a little bit of grappling, and then they call it Japanese jiu-jitsu because they don't want to get beat up by Brazilian jiu-jitsu people.
Gotcha. I mean, it's completely different style.
Yeah,
right? And different rules and stuff like that.
Yeah. And like culture and intensity is different and stuff like that. So lineage is what helps with that a lot. And like there's certain red flags. If a gym doesn't spar, that's a red flag. They don't pressure test anything that they teach. You could teach some shit from YouTube and like pass it off like it works, but as soon as you pressure test it, it's obviously not working.
That's so funny. I started jiu-jitsu, and I was texting one of my friends, and then I think he kind of did like a little test, and he was like, maybe he doesn't know what jiu-jitsu is. And he goes, "Are you the best guy there?" And it was like, I was there for like a week or two. And I was like, I'm definitely not the best. But I think had I said yes, today. Yeah, maybe. And I was the only one that showed up or whatever.
20 female people.
Literally. Bro, and I think that's such a cool thing. Like I've rolled with, I think, a couple of girls, and they were significantly smaller than me, but also other guys who are significantly smaller than me, and they're taking me down and they're like throwing me around. And I think that is so sick.
It's the beauty.
Yeah. And I think that's why I was like, I think everybody should try it. Besides cauliflower ear, I almost see like zero downside. And from my experience, it's like the first week or two is me just like being in panic and flailing. And then it's so funny because right after the 2 week mark, I start recognizing and feeling the move. And it's like, oh, you're about to sweep me. I can't defend it, but I know you're about to sweep me, you know? Yeah. And it's like,
some recognition.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's been really cool.
So that red flag is definitely big. Being the best in the room. I mean, as a new person, you definitely shouldn't be the best in the room. But there is, depending on what your goals are, being the best in the room, it kind of is what it is. Because if you're like the black belt, like I'm started my own school, so I don't have a ton of colored belts and stuff like that. So I'm probably am the best in the room. That doesn't mean it's a bad room. If you're skilled, you can be the best in the room and still get better. I would say 70% of my rounds are with blue and purple belts intentionally, because those people, I can work on stuff. I can sharpen my swords, which are my moves, my tools. If I try to just do that on a black belt, they're going to shut it down so early because I'm not good at it. So I have to roll and I have to
get
spar.
Those drills and get
where maybe you're fighting for your life, but because of skill discrepancy, I'm drilling and you just don't know it.
So sick. Like when we roll, it's like it's so obvious to me because I think you're like applying a little bit of pressure, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna move on to this other one, and then I'm like trying to defend all of it. It's so fun.
Yeah, and then like
because I'm like, how? And it's and the way I'm envisioning it is like it's so clear to you, but like to me, it's still like fuzzy. I'm still like, oh, okay, I know you're going for something, so I'll defend that, and then you just migrate, and I'm like,
It's one of these interesting. I heard this parable once, and I thought this visualization was really big. When you're a kid and you got like dirt, and you'll like make a little pathway with your finger, and then you could like pour some water in it and watch it go down, and then you can like make a branch off that, and then you watch the water go down that way.
Okay.
Right, and you kind of create these little like mini rivers almost. Right, that's all we're doing in jiu-jitsu. That's time when you go to
Building out your tree.
Yeah, and a lot of time in black when you go with a black belt, let's say, or a brown belt, and sometimes even a purple belt, is they seem like there's so many steps ahead of you. You're just like, he defended the right way. I know I did. And he's like, it felt like he set me up.
Yep.
It's because as you experience more, you realize that it's coding. That's all jiu-jitsu is. If, then that. That's it.
Yep.
It's if, then that. As you get better at coding, you can understand that formula and build stuff faster. You can code faster because you understand
the flow better.
The flow, what you don't have to worry about, and what you do. There's so much like in a certain position. I don't have to think about all these options because
I'm here.
I'm living right here because that's all you have available.
Yep.
And as you get more experience, you understand that. And you understand that, okay, if I put this pressure and I pin this hand, I just made the tree. There's 3 options you have physically. There's 3 options. You can either do this, this, or this. So because I've narrowed your options down to 3, when you pick one,
I'm now down that path.
I'm already cognizant of it.
Yep.
So when you start to go down that path, I'm ready for it. And I'm already making my next move as you pick that path. So it appears like I'm 30 steps ahead of you or 3 steps or whatever it is, when in actuality, I've just limited your options and I know what they are. And I don't know which one you're going to pick, but I've been there so many times that when you start doing it, it appears like I'm ahead of you as you've made that decision. And then that goes into the next move and the next move. And then I don't know, you're submitted or something like that.
And I've been drawing a lot of, I play chess kind of.
Which has that's a similar tactic.
I see so many like parallels, and like a first one is something that I struggle with right now is like, I don't know how to submit somebody. And like, I have some basic ideas, but in chess, it's like, there's so many different ways. And a pattern is brand new people. They might have some moves, but then the board could be cleared and you have all the pieces. And as a new player, you don't know how to finish. You're like, I just don't get it. And you have everything. Like the person has your back, your neck is exposed, and you still don't know rear naked choke or whatever,
right?
You know, and or you forget it, and then
this is actually why rolling with newer white belts can actually be harder
because they're sporadic, right?
Sporadic, they do unorthodox things. As you get better at jiu-jitsu, you get better at doing jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu. So your reactions are built on someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, because your tree is here, and then I'm doing this, and you're like, bruh.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
And it's like that can catch you off guard. So when you roll with a newer person, like if a new person comes in, especially if they're big and muscular and like they're 250 pounds
and can move stuff.
I'm only 170, you know. So I'm really, which is the cool part of jiu-jitsu, because if my 170 pound person can pin and subdue a 250 pound person, that's jiu-jitsu, right? I'm using leverage at that point, especially if they're way stronger than me. I'm not a super strong guy. So they have all these physical benefits and advantages through leverage and gravity.
Yep.
I am applying pinning pressure.
Finding all the fulcrum points.
Exactly. I'm making him weaker than me just through leverage points and like manipulating those and using gravity, which is why like your example of when you roll, let's say we rolled and you feel like some pressure and stuff, but you can tell I'm not really putting it all in. Then there's maybe a moment or two where you're like, you feel pressure. Oh, that was there. And you know, there's cool stuff like that.
I kind of don't remember either, but
you had just said something about, doing unorthodox stuff.
Oh yeah. White belts. Right.
When you roll with someone like that, a newer person, you actually have to shrink jiu-jitsu down. You're not going to do a berimbolo and like all this fancy stuff because they're not going to give you the reaction to do it. You're actually going to have to shrink it down. And like, I just grab your sleeves, I put my feet on, or your wrists, I put my feet on your hip, I extend you, jackknife you at the hips, and just hold you.
Yep.
And you're like, and I just hold. I let you chill out. And then I start doing some moves on you. I cook you a little bit, make you exert yourself, get tired a little bit, slow you down.
That's such an interesting thing too. And then
it's
so cool how many different things from jiu-jitsu that like you learn about. And I don't know if just from doing it, like if I've gotten calmer, but I'm like, I don't have a dude on top of me, drenched in sweat. Bro, that happened. It was like,
Yes.
I was sparring and this dude, end of the class, he was like drenched, massive beard, and he was in side control. And it was like his full beard was in my mouth, and I was smiling the whole time. I was like, "Loves it.
Yes.
This is the game."
Isn't that funny?
It's so cool. And I love telling people that, and they're like, "Why do you do it?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's like that's how you learn. It's
man.
like it's fun.
Getting comfortable in the uncomfortable.
I think that's exactly it.
One of the most beneficial things you can do in your life.
Yeah, totally.
And this is why people get bit by the bug like you are and like I was. Is you start to feel all these parables with life.
Yes.
And it's super corny. And you've seen so many Instagram and YouTube videos of professors like talking about the relation of life and jiu-jitsu and it saved my life. And with any stereotype, there's some truth. And there is truth with that, 100%. The parable and the relation to life of not freaking out when stuff gets bad. How much better do you perform when
you're calm?
A life event happens that wants to throw you in a spiral? Your boss is a jerk at work. You and your lady are fighting, or your spouse or whatever. Your kids are driving you crazy. You got hit by a car or an accident. Just something did not go right. Being calm in those moments. Jiu-jitsu helps with that because it's not as bad as getting my face ripped on.
Yep.
Everything will pass. Everything will move on. If the calmer you stay, the better off you're going to be. The more
What is that, the stoicism thing?
Kind of,
again?
yeah. Like you'll have your wits about you and all that kind of stuff. And you won't be as emotional. And that takes time.
Yeah.
More than others. It sounds like you're kind of realizing that stuff kind of a little faster than most. And then your breathing becomes better.
I was going to bring that up too. It's like once you're able to stay calm and you can breathe, and it's like in life, this is something I bring up to my coworkers a lot, which is like, I ask them like, hey, have you taken a breath today? Because I find when you're super stressed or whatever it is, it's like you end up holding your breath like throughout the day.
You get into the parasympathetic state.
Yeah.
Breathing through your chest rather than your stomach.
Yeah.
Your neck starts your neck starts to get tense. You're in fight or flight.
Yeah, literally.
And that's in the beginning of jiu-jitsu, extremely common.
Yeah, exactly. So like, can you run me through a little bit of like the process for opening up a gym? Because like I'm curious to know a little bit more about like maybe some more technical details. Like you have to find a location, then you have to get insurance on it. Like how do you determine your pricing? Do you have like projections or anything to like you hope I can get a certain amount of students to the overhead? Like do you have teachers? That kind of stuff.
So I'm fortunate I got to, I've been teaching for about 3 years at Cascade and then Aries and on top of that. And so I have decent amount of teaching experience and I've had a business for 11 years outside of jiu-jitsu. And so my goal with jiu-jitsu was, because a lot of instructors and gym owners, they don't do it only. Like, that's not their career. They have another job as well.
And, like, you have photography and videography.
Yeah. And so my goal was to make it self-sufficient. So
keep them separate.
If I wanted to rely on just the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, I could.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and so my other business, it's not like self-sufficient. I'm in the daily. I still do a lot with that. But the goal is to make it so I'm kind of more on the operational side. Yeah. And moving the chess pieces. I have an extremely good team at my company in Seattle. Like, my team is rock solid. Super good people, and been with me for years, most of them. So, but back to the gym. That was my goal, is to make it something that we could use as our sole piece of income. So, and we start looking at the numbers, because a lot of jiu-jitsu instructors and owners, gym owners, will act like almost like they're doing you a favor. Like, I'm just trying to keep the lights on. You got 400 students that pay $200 a month.
Yeah, do that math.
Keeping the lights on. And I also don't like that kind of speech, because it kind of will make people pocket watch you a little bit, and because it feels disingenuous. You don't got to act broke. At one point, you probably are. Like right now, I don't have any paying members, and I have rent and all the normal expenses. So yeah, if I didn't have another job, I would feel like a brokey.
Yeah.
And I would feel like, oh my gosh, and stuff. Not that there's not pressure, because it's still a lot of money going out. But yeah, the goal is to make it like something that we can live off of. And so there's not a ton of expenses that go into a grappling and jiu-jitsu gym, or let's say MMA, boxing, stuff like that. Especially if you're an instructor that wants to teach. If you are very business minded, as in like you look at it as only a source of income, maybe you like the sport, maybe you love the sport, but your goal is more so, I just want to have 300 students or 400, 500, 600, whatever that number is, because that brings in a certain monetary amount. And you're probably not going to teach as much. You're probably going to get a stable of coaches so you can focus on acquisition, which is very non-grappling or non-martial arts.
Like perspective?
Like more so jiu-jitsu, because unfortunately, this is how McDojos happen. It's like a derogatory term to Americanized martial arts studios.
Yep.
It's what happened to karate in America and taekwondo. They, like I said before, they have really legit versions.
And then it just became too casual.
They have money-driven versions. They'll charge you for belts, like promotions.
Yep.
They'll charge you to test for your belt. They nickel and dime you. They raise rates out of nowhere and like don't tell you. All this kind of stuff. So it's like they're nickel and diming every chance they get to try to maximize their income. Good on you.
Yeah, yep.
That's one way to run a business.
That's a perspective. Yep. Makes sense.
A lot of the time, jiu-jitsu was known as a passion project, which is also another reason why it was, instructors were not making much money. They had to have a second job. Jiu-jitsu itself has blown up. A little bit, the temperament has changed a little bit in that. Thoughts on business, and I have this from my other companies that I've owned or own, and I'm taking this into jiu-jitsu, is the product sells. The product is the most important thing. If my product is good, the money will follow. I truly believe that. And that comes from a place that I saw that work at multiple gyms in Washington. Cascade Jiu-Jitsu, Electric North Jiu-Jitsu, Sleeper, Isla. These are 4 gyms that I know have multiple hundreds of students and spend less than $1,000 on marketing, because it's about the product, right? Jiu-jitsu nowadays, I'm not saying it sells itself, but in a way it does. It's just much more popular than it used to be.
Which helps, yeah.
Yeah, big time. I mean, huge. Thanks to Joe Rogan, Jocko Willing, Russell Brand, like Tom Hardy, celebrities that do this stuff, and UFC, all that kind of stuff. So my focus is just have a good product. I come from a marketing background, so do the best practices on social media.
Provide good content, like make it look clean,
right.
Like post
Google My Business.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much value in those little things, and that's going to take you so far.
Have an optimized website.
Yeah, exactly. SEO stuff.
Exactly. Some basic stuff. And then like me, I like to have a really clean, professional aesthetic, because in my opinion, from a marketing perspective, you're creating trust just by visuals. So like my photography and videography company, we specialize typically in like higher end. Our customers are like Lamborghini and Rolls Royce and like Bentley and McLaren, Mercedes, and in the auto industry, and then Toyota as well and stuff like that. So we have that kind of aesthetic that, you're trying to create a desire for something through prettiness. And so I try to do that through visuals with the gym. I'm not breaking any like ground. There's plenty of gyms that have really good aesthetic. AOJ for one is one of them. But
it's also like the minimum, or if not the minimum, it's like you should focus on those things.
I want you to like look at it and be like, this is a professional business.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
There's value in that.
Yeah.
It's not some dinky place.
Exactly, and I want people to feel comfortable with that, especially if I'm in a higher end area like Gilbert, decent amount of income level. People are going to expect a certain level of experience. If my jiu-jitsu experience is good, I think the income will follow. So when I got into it, my thing was make sure I do best practices, make sure I find a place that's convenient. Which
makes sense.
Yep. And
location.
Yep. And then, especially starting out, and then just provide a good product. Passion-led teaching. I'm teaching all my classes.
Yep.
I think that is extremely important. And I know that there's some places that, like I said, they'll have a stable of coaches. They'll control the culture from off the mats. And that's one way to do it. And it's a way to make a lot of money. Honestly, that's a way to make a lot of money. My goal isn't to make a lot of money. I'm not trying to be shitty, but I've made a lot of money at points in my life. And it was no different than when I made 50 grand a year. I didn't notice a difference from making a lot to that. My quality of life, I'm saying. Could I afford nicer jeans?
Yeah.
Sure.
Nicer short shorts, bare bottoms.
Hello. Yeah.
Call back.
Call back, bro. There's certain things that sure can happen, but if you don't live like an asshole, and today with inflation and stuff like that, I know making 100 grand now is not like making 100 grand 10 years ago.
Yep.
But you can still live comfortably.
Yep.
Literally on less than 100 grand. I've been broke as a joke, and the joke wasn't very funny. In my late 20s, where I was making $700 a month in my late 20s. Oh, I've been down that road too. And I was maybe happier. My wife and I were maybe our second happiest, because there was a 7-year period when I was at Cascade Jiu-Jitsu, when I started Jiu-Jitsu to when I moved to Arizona. That was probably the best time of our life.
Nice.
With just our lives. A time I will look back on with fondness.
Yeah, like very fond.
Yes.
You're like, nice. Like things just worked out, and like stars were aligning, and you're like, nice.
It's not that nothing bad happened, but I mean, I got identified being an alcoholic in that time. One of the most challenging times of my life actually happened in that time period. But I have lifelong friends that I will be on my deathbed with from that 7 years.
Right.
Sorry, I usually try to be smart about that. But
yeah, and I feel like that's also my perspective. I've owned a couple of businesses too, and I think they were pretty good. One of them I recently shut down this year, like truly shut down, it like purely from burnout. But I think like my philosophy going into a lot of these things is like, okay, if I don't need to be so greedy, if I'm not trying, like I want to make money, I don't need to make the most amount of money. Yeah. I don't need to optimize maximizing
to be a multimillionaire.
If I have a pretty good stable income and like the flexibility that I want, to me that's like, dude, that's like happiness.
Quality of life.
Yeah.
And I've felt both. I've absolutely felt both, where I made a lot of money without quality of life and work-life balance, and then which I'm not one of those people that's like, you shouldn't do a job interview and ask about work-life balance. In my opinion, you got to eat shit for a while.
Yep.
You got to grind.
It's like the white belt part.
Yeah. You have to grind for a bit and eat shit for years. You're a creative, aren't you?
Like somewhat. Like, what do you mean by that? Like I take pictures.
Well, I mean, it seems like you're a photographer. Like so people know, Steve and I have talked maybe twice.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
The first day about Seattle,
30
and
seconds,
then 30 seconds there, and then at your gym
for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that.
Yeah, we were talking mid-roll.
Yeah,
because I can't stop.
Right. But I've seen your Instagram, and you're a very good street photographer, in my opinion.
Thanks.
Very great aesthetic and everything, lifestyle, like kind of vibe. And so I wasn't sure if like that was more of a hobby or it's an auxiliary of what you do for a living. But I figured you're a creative in some fashion, and that burnout, I think, is very easy for us.
Oh yeah,
very easy. And I've had it myself multiple times, and you have it with jiu-jitsu too. But the quality of life thing is one of the reasons why my businesses are photography, videography, and jiu-jitsu right now, and website. We build websites too. We have another division, separate thing that does website building. I wanted to turn my hobbies into what I make money with. Once I realized I was borderline retarded when it comes to like learning, like I have severe ADHD, and I got kicked out of like every class for joking and like stuff like
clowning around, yeah, distracting.
Very surprising to you, I'm sure.
Yeah. I also did.
Yes, and like that environment was not how I learned. It just is what it is. I just heard an excerpt of Lionel Richie on Joe Rogan podcast, like a little like Instagram clip, and he was talking about how there's academics and then there's creatives. Now, not that you can only learn in one.
Oh, okay. I'm sure.
Creatives a lot of the time struggle in academia, in that learning environment. Now there's academics, they can memorize stuff, they can read like and take stuff in, and a lot of times creatives are more physical and like stuff like that, and that holds true to me. And we should have schools that like help multiple learning styles, and I think that's where charter schools come in. In Seattle, that's not as popular as it is down here, which I think is great. But yeah, I'm one of those people.
Tracking.
I haven't read a book since The Giver, in whatever grade you read The Giver.
Literally.
And I probably only read the back, to be honest.
So I guess I'm not. I think so.
Lycan. Do you remember those?
Is that tiger lion energy?
From the movie Underworld.
Oh, cool. The giant ass like tiger thing.
It's a werewolf and a vampire.
Oh, and a vampire. Lycan.
Oh, you tricked me with Liger, the Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, I'm thinking of Liger.
It's a lichen.
Lycan. So it's like
it's a species from a
underworld.
borderline shitty movie.
It kind of scared me because when I watched it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is freaky."
It's dark.
But yeah, I guess
10
like
also.
I think my style is hybrid. I think I was a pretty good student, really good at like math and science and stuff. So for my job, my day job is I'm a software engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, I work for a company called Carvana.
Oh, so I work at a dealership. We're
Oh, cool. Oh,
in auto. So I remember when they came out. Like,
and you're like, they're gonna fail.
Actually, I thought they were going to change the game.
I think we are.
And it started because I saw what they did with their very first photo booth, and they spent like $1 million on this thing.
Yep.
And it had
the 360 thing,
software, and like they had a 360 camera within, so you could like zoom in, zoom out. It looked like a 3D rendering. And it had hot spots where you could, like, if there was a scratch on a car, you could click on and zoom in.
Yep.
Because their whole thing, correct me if I'm wrong, was we want to make it possible to buy nationally, not just locally, so a customer can buy with confidence a vehicle in another state without seeing it. Like, everything's out there. It's full transparency. And that the visuals, like we were talking about professionalism and getting people comfortable, this is a big thing I talk about in marketing with dealerships, is shitty inventory photos lets people know that you don't care. And if your car's dirty, you don't even care to clean it for photos. So what else is wrong with it?
Yep.
What else did you not take care of? Yep. And Carvana was with kind of moving
high quality photos
and moving the needle towards our digital footprint needs to be stellar.
Yep.
And so I started doing inventory photos for like Auto Trader and like stuff like that in 2005. So I've made a living shooting photos of cars since 2005, basically. That's how I paid my bills. And then I turned into the premium option, where my selling point was, yeah, you can pay little money for okay quality or bad quality, or you can pay more money for a professional photographer and you'll notice a difference right out the gate.
Yep.
And then your customers will just be like, well, non-photographers don't know why a photo looks good. They're just, sometimes a photo, they're like, something about it, man, it just looks good, the colors, and I don't know what it's saying. We are like, well,
the framing, the composition, like that matters,
amazing.
you know.
And it's why people see an image that they like and there's like, I don't know what it is, and they're willing to hang it or something like that, and they don't even understand that it's first and foremost composition, and then it can get into like color editing.
And then that style.
Exactly. Then there's a style preference and all that, but bringing all that to like, so it's like, I call it the Olive Garden of photography, which is like, it's Italian.
Yeah.
So it's like inventory photography is photography, but it's like the like most entry level, right? And then we can get into like when we started doing commercials, print ads for magazines and like stuff like that, which is like obviously more studio style and all that. So we do the whole gamut.
And so I think that like, and so I agree. So I have some experience with photography, but like listening to you a little bit ago, you were talking about how you do auto stuff. And so I was in the wedding industry, and then in one of the podcasts, you were saying how like you've never done it. I never did it either. We were doing wedding rentals. And so we would like rent out tables and whatever, which then that's when I started my startup. It was a all-in-one place for wedding vendors and couples to connect for their wedding day and stuff like that.
That's cool.
But it had to do a lot with like understanding what like wedding vendors like needed and like the gaps there. And I think I got that experience from doing the wedding event rentals, and like none of those things were like huge money making. Like I think for wedding rentals we maybe made like $40K over 2 years, but that's like with me and my wife doing our full-time jobs and this on the weekend,
right?
You know, so I was like, okay, it paid off itself in 2 years, and we made a little bit and we learned, and then she was like, dude, I'm not into this, so I was like, okay, let's shut it down.
Which is a big thing. Like, if you try to turn your hobby into a job and you're focused on the money side so much, it's going to turn into a job.
Yeah, literally.
And same with like me. Like when I started my company, I worked for another company before I started mine. And, you know, I thought I would have like all this freedom. And it was like, I work more than with my own company than I ever did at a 9-to-5 or a W-2 employee.
Yep.
Like 7 days a week.
You do so much work.
100%. 7 days a week.
you fall asleep thinking about it. You wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh fuck, I gotta like do this thing or whatever.
I had a guy call out. He didn't even call out. I got a text
no-show
from,
or whatever.
Yeah, he no-showed on Christmas Eve.
Nice.
And my customer was like, hey, where's our photographer? And I was like, he's supposed to text the guy, and he's like, oh, man, I'm at my family's house or something. And it was one of these things where it was like, typically they don't work Christmas Eve, but it was a special one, just one customer, and we agreed, and he didn't show up, and he was like, oh, sorry, I'm not going to make it. And I was all the way in Bremerton, which is a ferry ride away from Bellevue. And it's literally an hour and a half drive. And Christmas Eve, I had to leave my family's house. We were at my sister-in-law's. The whole family's there, like 20 people, and my wife and I had to leave, go service them, and it took 3 hours to do. Yeah. And now it was at a point towards the end of the day, and we're like, do we even go back? And we didn't. We went home because it was closer to our house. And so we did Christmas alone on that. But stuff like that happens, you know. It falls on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another person roll down the hill. And honestly, if you're a good boss, it should fall on you. Extreme ownership.
I was going to say that too. Like being a good leader, it's like it's your thing. It's yours. Yeah, you should be the one driving. Yeah.
My guys mess up, then it's on me.
Yep.
I didn't prep you well enough. I didn't train you well enough. Now, obviously, there's certain things that can happen, and blah, 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 where they have some ownership as well. But as a good leader, you need to take that ownership and know that you probably could have done something better.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a huge thing. And so I worked my way up at that first company before I started my own. I was the operations manager. And so I had 40 guys underneath that I managed. And so I got to cut my teeth on managing people. So I was the technical guy. I was like photography director, but then I also was the operations manager and managed all the photographers and stuff like that. And then I started my own thing, and it was just me for a few years. And then I hired someone, then I hired another one. Shout out to Friendo.
Shout out
Friendo Tabukang.
Yeah,
Micronesian. So yeah. And really that translates to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because I'm a people person. I'm a people manager. And I like developing people. Played baseball competitively coming up, and so I got to see like team sports and what a good instructor and a good coach is compared to an absent one. So, and just getting back to like the original question, which is like what I hope to do with this, is like I just hope to have a place that the product speaks for itself, the culture speaks for itself, people can grow, people find lifelong friends, because that's what I've found. And people can change their lives. I lost 50 pounds doing jiu-jitsu, so Fat Bill was a different menace.
I think I remember you saying that. Like you dropped some weight from this.
Yeah.
And held it off. So nice.
Doing night so far.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I had this black dude at Fry's. I was wearing a sleeveless, and I think I just trained, so I was a little pumped up. And,
like all veiny and stuff. Yeah.
And he's like, I was like checking out or something like that. And he's like, damn, man,
what's your routine?
You looking good.
Yeah.
And he made me feel so good.
Nice.
Somehow black dudes can say stuff sometimes. They just like.
And you're like, thank you. I needed that like energy.
Yes. Like just the inflection and like stuff. And I was like,
like the swagger.
Yeah. And I was like, man, I'm trying. Thank you. And he's like, you ain't trying. You're doing, motherfucker.
Yeah. And
he works at Fry's. They just call MFer. I thought it was but it pumped me up.
You're like, all right, I'm in love with the sport.
Oh, can I stand?
Oh yeah, please.
So I went like this, like when I walked out of Fry's, like it's got my receipt and I
skip. That's so funny. Yeah,
it was so funny.
That's so sick.
Yeah, some guy just yelled queer.
Yeah,
like as I was skipping through the parking lot, so that brought me back.
And you're like, that's not even a problem.
Sometimes,
yeah, not.
Bro,
when I roll,
I do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many like gay memes about it. I love it. Yeah, no big deal.
You know what I'm saying?
It's part of the learning. I was gonna say like I quit my first job. I was doing aerospace engineering, and I
smart guys.
No, the dumbest one of the group. Okay. And I grew up with kind of like a lot of entrepreneurship. My dad owns his own business. He's an electrician. He has his own company out here in Arizona. And Elizabeth's dad is also an entrepreneur. He has his own, he's a manufacturing consultant. And so he goes and helps improve processes and things like that. But I've always been surrounded by that. And so I took a leap as well. And something that I wanted to commend you on is there's a saying that I say to people a lot, which is a bird lands on a branch.
Okay.
Does the bird trust its wings or the branch?
Is this a question?
I don't really know. And so I think the ultimate takeaway though is like the bird trusts its wings. And it's like,
That's
hey,
where I was
like
leaning.
yeah.
Someone tries calling me out on that.
It's so funny
I
because
swear.
I ask these people or I say that to people and I just say it so much that it's
Step as a human, if we weren't sure
The ground
we could
wants to
hold our body up
yeah.
with the step, or like
That's exactly right.
jumping off something, like we feel like our legs are going to be able to handle it,
Yeah.
not blow them out or
Right.
something.
But I think I think the takeaway is like I think it's very cool that you did some work, learned, and then in that process you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to also try. And I think that that is a very cool attribute that you have. And
I think it comes from my mom. She grew up in Alaska. You know what a homesteader is?
maybe
So there's a show called Alaska First Frontier,
okay,
and it's like not a full-blown homesteader. It's living in Alaska is difficult.
it's Alaska.
Yes. And I think now the town she lived in, it's like 45 minutes north of Anchorage, I think it is, something like that. And now the town has 4,000 people. So at the time, in the like 50s and whatever, 60s, it was like hundreds, tiny kind of thing, just rural in Alaska. And you have to make do with what you got. And you don't freak out. Like, she's as calm as it gets. When something happens, she goes, all right, well, I just got to fix it.
You gotta just deal with it. Yeah,
Do what you can. And you're very driven,
capable.
Yes,
Yep.
and like,
And if you're not, you learn and force yourself to.
and you kind of create this mindset of like, why not? Well, I want to do this. Well, why not do it then? Just do it. Like, you can do it. You can do what you put your mind to.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's limitations to that, but it was just a mentality.
Yeah.
That made it so you can. It's intimidating. It's scary. Starting anything.
Absolutely.
Like,
dude, the imposter syndrome is crazy.
And I'm a mental midget when it comes to that stuff. I will mess with my own head.
Yep.
I still wonder if I'm a black belt. Like,
that's
it's
so
like,
funny. Yeah.
That.
Or are they going soft on me or whatever? Right. Like. Yeah.
And I'm still I have imposter syndrome even with like photography and videography, and you would not think that happens, but once I get in there and I'm like, because a lot of people don't realize that like as a professional photographer or videographer, one of your main skills are problem solving in the field, especially if you're not even if you're a studio person, but if you use natural light and stuff like that, or
you have to adapt to the environment.
The battery didn't work.
SD card right, whatever.
Something. Skin tones are different. Staging is different. Whatever it is, like you have to work on the fly. You'll always have a plan. Typically, your work, especially wedding photographers. I mean, that's one of their best attributes is on the fly. They're thinking of stuff.
Yeah.
But you're a problem solver when you're a professional photographer, videographer, and it's one of the most underrated skills of one of them. There is, like, even in the editing process.
Yeah.
How do I get that look? I really want this Larry Chen style. How do I do it? So I always back engineered everything. Like, I would find something I really like, and then I would try to do it.
Yep.
And then that's how I'd like acquire skill, because I'm self-taught. I dropped out of high school. I taught myself photography. Then I taught myself videography. And then I obviously didn't teach myself Jiu Jitsu, but I did a lot of studying outside of the room, which is why I progressed quickly. Yeah. Or one of the reasons. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any words for the listeners, for anything up and coming? Do you want to share any info about Santan Jiu Jitsu so that
I feel like I didn't even like answer your question on building it.
It's cool. Yeah.
Do you want more, like, any granular info, like, on, because you were talking, I think, before, like, kind of give people an idea on cost and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Like, going through the process of rent, or are we on like a time thing?
I think we're good. Yeah.
Like, looking around, I thought Phoenix was going to be way cheaper than Seattle.
It's really not. Oh,
commercially, it's not. Like, some of my friends from Seattle that own gyms, because I'm doing a vlog series on on Santan Jiu Jitsu's Instagram, which is just Santan Jiu Jitsu, and I'm upfront about how much stuff costs, just so people can kind of have an idea. Maybe they want to start their own business and it's Jiu Jitsu or something else. And I've had my friends that own gyms be like, "You're paying that much, or those are the amounts?" Because I went through like 4 different buildings that I considered to rent, and they, excuse me, they varied from $2,000 to I mean, I didn't put this one in one of the videos, but we had one that was $15,000 a month.
Jeez.
For the rent alone. You got to do insurance.
Yep.
On top of that, you're looking at a few $1,000s there. Your upfront cost is going to come from merch.
Because you have to build out the gym and
let's say merch. You're going to have your team gis, which you don't have to have.
I wasn't even thinking of that. Okay.
You want to have a lower barrier to entry, in my opinion. So if someone comes in, they want to train. They're like, hey, I want to try jiu-jitsu. I want to have a gi available that they can use right there, and they can try that class right there and capture that lead. Some gyms, they will like push you like, oh, you have to go to this class to start. I think that's just another way to do it. I think lower barrier to entry. It's very similar.
Dude, make the friction, reduce the friction.
Exactly. And it's very similar in the like website world when you're building websites that have commerce to them.
Reduce the clicks.
They're used make your pathway 3 clicks to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the auto world, it was very common to have like 15 call to actions on a website, because we want to hit every single kind of person. The person that wants to know about financing, the person that wants to know about availability, the person wants to know about, can I do a test drive? Can I just ask a question? What's the warranty? Like they have all these call to actions and buttons that someone can click to call, right? Submit a form lead. Well, now it's almost confusing, and it's the same as when you go on Netflix and there's too many options. And then you end up just scrolling, and now you're just looking at your phone. You're not even going to watch a movie or a show.
You give up.
You gave up.
Yeah.
You gave up. And instead, let's funnel people. Funnel them. So let's have 2 call to actions. Check availability. Is this vehicle still available? Apply for financing. What that indicates is check availability is your high to mid funnel customer in the sales process. And then apply for financing is low funnel.
That means you're about to commit.
They like that car.
Yeah.
They're not wondering what color or anything. They like that car. I mean, they're going to buy it, but they're willing to apply to start that process and then come in, and they're pretty much ready to rock. You know that's a lead that you could sell right there.
Yep. It shows that they're serious.
Right. And then the other ones, they're serious because they're submitting a form, but they're just higher in the process, and you're going to have a personal contact to nurture them into the low funnel. So in jiu-jitsu terms, that's what I believe is if someone had the courage to walk in a gym, that was hard. Let me get this guy on the mat now to feel the culture and feel the room. Because they just probably sat in the parking lot for 10 minutes wondering
debating
if
I should go in.
100%. And if you're going to steer them away now, be like, come next Tuesday. I guarantee you're losing opportunities. So I want to have gis available and stuff like that. In trial gis even, because they might not want to buy a gi. Barrier to entry. You got to buy a gi, that's $150. You got a sign-up fee, that's $150. You got the tuition, that's $180 or whatever, $200. And you got your rash guard, all this kind of stuff. Instead, I'd like to give them a trial gi that they can use as a borrow, and then no cost to try it. I don't do sign-up fees. I understand why people do them. Your time is money as well. But once again, lower barrier to entry. I look at a retention rather than shoveling customers in. I look at retaining my customers.
Makes sense.
And that's what I've done with all my businesses. It's just a different business model. I'm not saying one's better than the other, just different. So you have your costs. So let's say I spent $7,000 on gis to stock gis, team gis. And then you have t-shirts. That's another $5,000. And then you have rash guards. That's another $5,000. And then you have the mats, which I spent $15,000 on mats, and then I spent another $2,500 on a floating floor. So it has a lot of give, and you can practice throws and takedowns safely.
Makes sense.
Miscellaneous like artwork. I printed out a bunch of big photos that inspire me and stuff like that, like artwork and decor and all that is another $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, that's like stylistic stuff, like making the gym feel like cool.
Once again, barrier entry for an owner, you don't have to do that.
Yep.
You could literally buy the mats, put them on the ground, start
open
business.
the door.
You could do it. And if you're, depending on your area, maybe there's not much jiu-jitsu, you probably do okay doing that. But if you're in a competitive market, which we are, there's a lot of jiu-jitsu
Dude,
gyms.
there are, I'm noticing.
A lot of jiu-jitsu gyms. You want to come to market a little differently, in my opinion, which is why I think my gym feels a little different, like from a visual perspective and from the lighting and all that kind of stuff. Come off like a full-blown business.
Yep.
Rather than
I'm launching ready.
Yes.
Yep.
Rather than working into that. And because we're in a competitive market, I think that was necessary. I bought an arcade that's like, it's got 8,000 games. It came from 94 to 2008. And That's a little bit of my own just for myself. But then also like now kids can play that. There's an experiential piece there. It's just kind of like cool. So little stuff like that. What else? Like, decorum, plants, right? Like little stuff like that. Stuff you don't think about. Paper towels, wet wipes.
Those are like reoccurring costs. Right?
Yeah. Your trash and electricity and internet. And we bought a TV to put up, a round timer. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So you're in the whole 40, 50 grand to start, which is actually lower than a lot of businesses. Starting my photography business, I
just need a camera.
I had a Canon 5D Classic that doesn't even do video. And that was before it was a subscription model. I think I paid $200 for Lightroom and Photoshop.
Exactly. That one time
bundle. And then I was, I had some lenses. I think I started with a 24-70 and I had one prime lens. I can't remember what it was. Oh, a 24-1.4. So,
so you're doing wide angle shots.
Yeah, and then my 24-70 was my workhorse, my 2.8. And then put that in memory card, and that was it. I was ready to go. I didn't need a tripod for the stuff I was doing. I didn't even need external lighting. So that was just my style. I liked using natural light. Business going, making money. So with this, it's still 50 grand's a decent amount. But compared to a restaurant or something like that, where they're putting out hundreds of thousands of dollars, and also your build out. I had a bid from one place that was going to be 200 grand to build it out because that was the first tenant. It was a new construction in Santan, and they wanted 200 grand, or it was going to take 200 grand. They were going to comp me 100, and then I had to spend 100.
Okay.
And for that level of investment, I just didn't want to do that. It didn't seem logical to do that because then you still have to get customers. I'm prepared to,
and you're like, I didn't even launch yet.
Yeah. And I'm prepared to be negative for the next year and not make any money for the next year. And you want to have that pathway, that runway to income. So I'm prepared for that. And got to do all that math and be like, okay, how long can I sustain my running costs without even making $1 and then breaking even and then starting to make money? You got to have all that and guess slower than you initially think. Like, don't do best case scenario. You can have that on the board, but what I think it'll take, and then add time and be ready because you never know what's going to happen. Something crazy, like, and even something not crazy, but just like, oh, things are a little harder than I thought. They probably will be. Something's going to pop up. So
exactly. Like, and that's what I say all the time, which is like, best case is best case. It's gonna work out. I need to think of if it's not that.
Prepare for the worst and ready for the best.
Exactly.
And so, let's say my running cost is $9,000 a month. I need 50 students to break even. And keep the lights dipping into savings. And then once I'm there, I can start stockpiling money, which once again, you shouldn't try to just take an income. You got to build a buffer. You have to build an account in case something does happen. You have reserves, and then you got taxes, and then you can start maybe drawing some money as income. So you got to kind of have a pathway and a plan for all that kind of stuff. You can try living off your
and like milestones.
Try living off your business right out the gate, and it's not a like single like photography. I didn't have a brick and mortar building, so there's no rent. I work at home. Your running cost is extremely low. So it's much easier to do it that way. Or even if you're like a carpenter and you're just on your own, right? Or drywall or paint or something like that, you can make money right away. What's going to happen is you're going to get that first $3,000 check that you did work for a weekend. You got 3 grand or 5 grand or 10 grand, whatever, like a wedding, right? And you're like, I can make really good money. Know that those don't look at that and be like,
every weekend.
Every weekend, I'm going to make 5 grand. Probably not. Don't anticipate that in time, but don't anticipate that. So like having realistic expectations and timeline. Like again, you got to eat shit for a while. Give yourself a couple years. Like when I teach a technique, what I tell people, just in a technique, I'm just teaching you how to do a move. Give yourself 3 months to be able to do that move. Drilling.
And drill.
Be able to know the move. 3 months.
6
months to be able to perform it in sparring against someone that's not letting you.
Tracking.
That's the amount of time we should give ourselves grace on to learn that. Something as big as a business with money and other things, you got to have realistic expectations. Otherwise, the expectations are going to cause fear, imposter syndrome. You're going to get into a hole. You're going to stop trying because that's natural. And it's a lot of stress.
Yeah. The realistic expectation thing is so true. And I think it goes back to what you were saying about like, the math really is not that hard. My expenses are 8 to 10K. That means I need at $200 a month, I need 50 students like you were saying, or whatever it is. And then but then now like the real expectation is like, okay, well there's attrition, and it's like, okay, there's like maybe like I get a random wave of students. It's like I can't assume I'm gonna keep getting that wave.
You're new me. You're gonna get in February. You're gonna get a lot of new people.
Yeah,
which is what it is.
Yeah, and so I think that's so important to have continually update your realistic model, like your expectation, I guess.
Yeah.
And like mapping that to like actuality. So for better projections and understanding what your business is, you know?
Totally. And you know, it's, you don't have to be so, like, it goes back to like focusing on the product. A lot of times it's going to come down to product. And like some people are really big on marketing. And the thing is, what happens is you can market a shitty product and make money, but inevitably you'll lose money, or not money, but like you will not reach the full potential that you have.
Yep. Because the veil will eventually whatever, and then underneath is.
But once again, why you're doing it comes into play. If you're doing it just to make money, then marketing. Keep the churn going, because you're going to have attrition, because you're not going to retain people as long.
Because your product's bad.
Because your product, maybe it's not bad, but it's not built on retention.
Yeah.
It's whatever the product is.
It's not built on retention.
You know, you have certain restaurants that are they have small menus, and they do certain things really well. And they're laser focused and laser sharp on those couple things that they serve, those foods. And then you have Denny's.
I can get chicken tenders, bro. Or pancakes. Yep.
Get a Grand Slam.
Yep.
Get some pad thai.
Literally.
Let's go to sushi.
Yeah, exactly.
Denny's. And then on the way out, I'm going to get a pumpkin.
Yep. One of everything.
But none of them are all that good.
Yep.
None of them are all that good. But they're serviceable, and Denny's has been around for 100 years or something. You know, so what gratifies you is going to be most important. Just developing that, boom. And maybe you got some of these other things in there, like good culture and stuff like that. But what you want to do, you really have to zero in on that. Because I feel like the richest person you know, literally, you've met a richer person than me. And what I mean by that is I do what I love. The employees I have in Seattle, I love these guys. And I love being able to give them a place to work that they enjoy and that they can thrive. And sometimes I act as a springboard into something bigger. And I love that. With Jiu Jitsu, I might, let's say my running cost is 10 grand, and the gym only brings in 30 grand a month after taxes. You're low six figure. I am okay with that.
Yep.
Because I will be doing what I love. Simple as that. I will be teaching classes. I will be helping people in their weight loss journey, in their character development journey, in their jiu-jitsu journey, whatever. I am A-okay.
Yep.
Working 7 days a week and going to tournaments on the weekend, helping
So build up my team, building up my people.
And being there for people and watching that growth. I love it. And that's why I'm doing it. And I don't need to be a multimillionaire doing it.
I just need to eat too.
I just, honestly.
I'm tracking.
I'm happy as a freaking clam.
I think that's what I was saying with when I was doing my startup. It was the most fun and the most exhausted I'd ever been. I think the only issue that I had was I was not making money. Yeah. And so then that was like.
And that's been a time thing. That reserve ran out.
Yeah.
And for you to get to the next level,
it required so much more work.
Leaving your job.
That was like leaving. Exactly it.
And then it's like, are we prepared to do that? And a lot of the time the answer, because that question comes up in life.
Yeah.
Multiple different times, multiple different ways. Sometimes the answer is not yet. It's not no, it's just not yet. Who knows what happens? People change every 5 years, typically. Yeah. If you look back, like I am literally 4 people removed from when I met my wife. We've been together for 20 years. And I'm a completely different person.
4 times.
Yes.
Yep.
And now I'm on my 3rd career at 42 years old. I'm starting a new career, you know? So it's like, sometimes it's just not yet. You know, you don't gotta give up on it. It's not a great fit yet. And maybe you guys get a little bit more savings in the bank. You get a little bit better schedule. You're not at Carvana anymore. You're at another place that has certain days free, and it just works out a little bit better. And it's like, well, maybe we already know the first part. We've done it. maybe we do it again, or we do something similar, and that pathway's a little better runway, you know.
And hopefully you have a little bit more wisdom now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I completely agree. And I've taken away so much from like the few entrepreneurial like endeavors that I've gone on. And it's like, honestly, I'm not disappointed. I'm very happy I trusted my wings and I tried. And from that, I like learned, and it was like, okay, cool. Like I'm still here. I'm still healthy, and I'm trying to just like, that's wisdom for the next endeavor.
Totally. And you know, you had told me like a lot of time on this podcast, you go over like career stuff and try to have an open book about incomes and stuff. And like with the photography stuff, my advice when I talk to like aspiring creatives is I think it's good to niche down.
This is my thing.
Yes. So like I niched down to automotive. And I didn't go for the stance cars, drift cars, classic, like doing individual photo shoots, because yes, you can charge in the beginning $150 for a photo shoot, or $500 or $1,000 as you get, you know, better and bigger. They're published, let's say. You know, because I shoot for like RM Sotheby's, Mecum Auctions, Barrett Jackson. Like I have contracts with all of them. So you can charge more like as you get to the higher end stuff. You know, we shot a $40 million Ferrari once.
Nice.
You know, it's crazy. So I think niching down, kind of like the restaurant thing, is super important, because if you try to do too many different styles, a lot of time it's not quite as fun. But dominating one thing, I think, is a little bit better monetarily. One reason why I didn't have to do weddings. Weddings scare the hell out of me. I know from a technical standpoint, I could do weddings. Like I think I'm a good enough photographer and all that.
The risk is just so high.
It stresses me out, dude. Like you miss that shot or something like that. It just
SD card dies.
Then, you know, that's so heavy. And it's why I've only done I think a couple engagement shoots for friends. And I don't charge. I'm like, no. They're like, they tried you. I'm like, no, I don't want that responsibility.
Take the pictures and run.
Yeah, even the timeline, I'm like, I want to be able to deliver it when I can. Yeah. So niching down, I think, is extremely important. You don't have to do YouTube. You don't have to be an Instagram influencer creative. Like that is a pathway, but it's turned into its own. And you don't have to be that. Like you can find what you really like to shoot, and you can go towards that. And then making a living is totally possible. I think it's actually even more so if you niche down, because then networking comes in.
Oh my God, networking is like the biggest. I think that's like one of the number one things people do.
100%, because I don't do any marketing with my other companies. Any. And when I say any, I mean I have a website. I have a shitty social media, like not even good. Like I'm not active very much and like stuff like that. I just have stuff on there that shows that we're still in business. Yeah. And all my new business comes from networking. Yeah. 100%. Oh,
I worked with you.
Yeah. Or someone goes, who's your guy like that? Like, who do you use for this? Oh, it's this dude, Anchor Point, you know, that's our company. And they do it, and then boom, I get business. And that's 11 years.
That was the premise of the wedding website that I built, was all networking.
Yep. And it's huge. Treat people right.
Oh yeah.
Do the right thing.
People are people first.
Yep. And it'll happen. It'll happen. Good product. Be a people person. Go above and beyond. Take extreme ownership. The money will follow. Just do the right thing. Eat shit. Hustle. The money will come. And it got to a point where when I first got that like $2,000 for 1 gig check, I was like,
it's real.
Holy smokes. Like, and this is like, you know, like I said a while ago. So that meant a lot more than it does now. But so like as an independent photographer, when I didn't even have employees, like you can get, not doing weddings or anything like that. Like I was in like the mid 6 figures. You can absolutely like get to that point with just being like a small show, like a small team, you know? Once I started adding photographers, then the business revenue goes up because
it scales.
Yeah, you're scaling and stuff like that. Just don't get greedy, in my opinion.
Bruh, I think that's it. Just don't get greedy.
I was making $200,000 a year, and then okay, well now we have $800,000 of revenue coming in. Let me scale my income with that. Don't do that. Like pay your guys well,
bro. Literally,
retain your dudes.
Yeah, that's exactly my mentality.
Treat them right. That doesn't mean pizza parties and shit like that. No one likes that shit. Like, I mean, you like it, but like, it doesn't mean anything. Big companies that do that, I'm sure it does it because it's a big company and that's just what happens. But it's like what means more is like taking care of them personally.
Yep.
Rather than these like group events. Not saying those are all bad, but
there's like deeper ways
yes,
to do this.
Yes.
Yep.
And a lot of people look
or to showcase your appreciation.
Yeah, and a lot of people look at monetarily or vacations or something like that. Or just being cool, just being chill. Like, I need this day off. Dude,
take it.
Please. Like, when my guys ask for time off, I never like give them guilt trips or something like that. Oh, I hate that. But as an independent photographer, videography, you can absolutely make like 200 grand. Like, it is not, and you don't have to sell LUTs. You don't have to have a pop-in Instagram page. Sure, those things can help, and those are different revenue streams that you can turn into, 100%. But finding, and this is another thing, I intentionally, one of the reasons I didn't want to do weddings is because I didn't want to always find the new lead, the new customer. I went on a retention model.
Right.
So, or in a like reoccurring revenue.
Like consistent companies.
A retainer.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, retainer. So I intentionally went business to business rather than business to customer. And I wanted to, instead of charging per thing, I was, here, you can have us for $3,000 a month and we're your agency of record. And that was easier to stack. So let's say I had, so 2 different companies, inventory, social media, and marketing. Social media marketing was a lot of retainer clients. And those I could say, let's say $3,000 a month, and we're going to give you 17 super high quality images for marketing purposes. And then we're going to give you 4 high quality reels, right, for social media, or videos for YouTube, or whatever the case may be, whatever their marketing channels are that they're dominating. And $3,000 a month, boom, for that. And that's enough content that I could easily manage that myself. And then I got 4 more retainer clients like that. From a work load perspective, I could handle 5 customers with 25 videos a month, and let's call it 100 images. I could handle that as a creative and still have freedom. If I wanted to like push grind, then okay, I'm going to go to 7 or 8. And or you start getting a book of business and stuff like that. Now I'm going to up my rate. So when I do get that 6th customer, they're going to be at $4 or $5,000 a month rather than $3,000.
Makes sense.
And then as you inevitably anticipate, you're going to lose customers. Even if you keep them for 2 years, at some point they're going to move on. So you kind of have to like take that into account and why you do raise your rates in time. But if you can stack retainer clients, way less stressful than always finding the next client. And in my opinion, the money can actually be better, because people think like, okay, if you're a newer photographer, charging $2,000 for a wedding sounds like that's dope.
Yeah.
No, it's not. 6, 7, 8, 10 grand is what a good, even higher.
Yep. Totally.
Honestly,
yeah, absolutely.
It gets really high up there. Is more of like a decent photographer team.
Yep.
You're gonna have a second shooter, probably even a third, maybe if you're splitting videography duties. That you know, you see that you're still having to get. You're not going to just do one wedding and get paid 10 grand off that and then like not work for the rest. Like that's ridiculous, you know, because you're
now you have to keep on getting that next lead.
Yeah. And then you're going to, let's say if you're self-employment tax, okay, we're talking about 30% tax, bam, out the door right there. Because you got self-employment and then the normal taxes that you have for your state and federal and all that. And then did you have a second shooter? Okay.
Now they got to get paid.
Were they any good? Yeah. Okay. So that's a few $100s, if not more. Are you paying an editor? Are you doing the editing? You know, and it's just not that 7 hours you did on Saturday. You probably have 30 hours of editing.
Yeah.
Who knows what that comes out to,
right.
but depending on your deliverables. But you have to take like all that into account. It's just not 10 grand in my pocket for a Saturday.
A math doesn't truly work like that.
So now you made $4,000. You probably want to make more than that. So now you're going to have to look for another wedding and look for another venue, you know, another customer. And in my opinion, weddings are not the best for like time spent to cost. So 30 hours of editing, full day in the field.
So 40
for $4,000.
Yep.
You charged him 10, but you only actually pocketed 4.
Yep.
So, and did you have to rent some lenses? Right?
Just like everything starts at 4 keeps dwindling.
It keeps going.
It starts from 10 and it dwindles.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
I also had to drive.
This thing,
So
10 hours of work, but it was 2 hours one way away.
Yes, yeah. So, you know, you really got to kind of like anticipate all that stuff. And that's why I think the price per effort is, because Try to stack 6 weddings in a month.
Yep. That's a lot.
You're going to be freaking miserable. Or you're now going to outsource your editing, most likely, and have a better second shooter because you need to have more usable images from them than the 10 that you actually are going to use.
Yep.
So, and this goes into not just weddings, like studio photography or whatever, which is typically even bigger teams, because you got, grips and like, light techs and all that stuff. Then you're chewing into your budget even more. And that's a lot of work rather than consistent retainer customers that you're doing their social media for, you're doing their marketing and all that, your ad creative and all that kind of stuff. So try to teach yourself to have be a Swiss Army knife, know how to do social media imagery.
Learn how to do it yourself.
Print,
really so valuable.
100%.
And I think that is so powerful that you have this knowledge and wisdom such that you can apply that to your new endeavor.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the cool thing is like, if you're a creative and you get good at that stuff, it doesn't matter what business you start in the future. You're going to be able to start ahead of everyone else. I have friends that spend $4,000 on marketing agencies to run their Google ads.
And you're like, dude, it's a couple clicks.
Guys, it is freaking easy. Legit. And I'm sure some of our friends might hear this and be like, it's not that easy. It's fucking easy, dude. Literally. Spend a month on YouTube, you will learn how to do it.
Yep.
And save so much money, let alone all the other stuff. So you'll be able to use that stuff for all these other endeavors that you inevitably go into. And sure, it might be hard for me to find a W-2 job now. I haven't applied for a job in 20 years. So I'm sure like my LinkedIn sucks or whatever. Like I don't even have one. Like I have one, but it's just because I manage businesses. LinkedIn's, you know what I'm saying? All that's noise anyways. Just try to niche down, learn as much as you can, and always be learning.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck in like jiu-jitsu. Black belts get stuck and they just do what they do. They stop learning at black belt. You'll hear a lot of dudes, I'm ready to learn now. Bitch, you stop learning. Now you're just comfortable and you come in and you do what you do.
The same thing.
Yeah. I'm talking about Tojo. He's a big piece of shit.
Tojo, you're listening? Start learning, bro.
It's drilling.
That's so funny.
That's a big thing, is always be learning.
Yep. Completely agree with that mantra. Yeah.
Very far. Always have a white belt mentality.
Yeah, if you're going down this tree, jump to this tree.
Dude,
instead.
Just do it. 2 feet in. Go.
Exactly.
And a lot of time, I had this freaking Russian dude, Armenian actually, sorry, that told me one time, because I was like, man, I'm thinking about doing this. And he goes, you just do this.
You just do it.
You just go and you just jump 2 feet in. This is no problem. And I go, what does that mean, dude? Like, you are so worried about what happened if you fail. You fail, it's because you have backup. Don't give yourself backup. I want you just do. You have no option. You must succeed. And he's kind of funny because like he drives like a big, nice G-Wagon, $250,000 car, brand new one. And I was like, dude, what are you doing buying that? You crazy animal. He's like, because like, and I was like, he says, the car payment's more expensive than I wanted. But I forced myself. I have to make a $2,500 a month car payment now.
So I got to lock in.
I got to lock in. And I mean, that's how he does it. And that's not financial advice.
Literally.
Don't listen to everything he says. He also smokes
2
cigarettes. But go in like you have no backup. Go in like, this is all I got. I got to make it work. That mentality, man. And then expecting to eat shit and all the other corny motivational things. There's some truth to them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how I view a lot of my stuff. It's like if you fail in rock climbing, there's like a no fall mentality because you're like, I'm not allowed to even think about falling. I just need to proceed.
Right.
Yep. And so I think that is kind of like a really cool mirror, I guess.
Yeah. You got any other questions on that, Ben?
No, I think that was kind of about it. Yeah. If you have any anything you want to like tell future people about your new gym, about like some schedules and stuff, or how they can like find you?
Yeah, Santan Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram. We're in the Santan Village Mall. If you want to do some jiu-jitsu,
light vibes.
Yeah, we're just
heavy jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, we train hard, but we have a good time doing it. Safety is a big thing. So even though we train hard, you got to be safe. I'm silly. I wasn't even that silly on this one, which was kind of cool. Like I didn't like say all that. I don't think I said maybe like one or two racist things, which is good. But yeah, it's pretty not bad. But like don't take anything too seriously. That's like my big thing.
Yeah.
It's like you'll be so much happier. But yeah, that's my plug.
Bill, thank you so much for coming on to today's show. I'm gonna put all your information down low and the links down below. Everybody, like I said, you're in G-Town, come check out bare bottom shorts, 5-inch seams at Santan Jiu Jitsu. That's so funny. And make sure you're watching.
That's your thumbnail.